today's guest is a chef. He is a cryptocurrency extraordinaire. He's a part-time Buddhist and yoga enthusiast, and he's one of my dear friends. Please welcome and raise your glass to Steve Barlow.
Thank you very much. That was a great introduction.
How are you, brother?
I'm very good, mate. Yourself?
I'm good.
That's
Good
good.
to see you. Good to see you.
Thank you. Likewise.
Were you cooking food today?
Of course, mate. Of course. Yes. Very
Every day. Not just for you, I mean, though. Like chefing. You were chefing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we've finished up now, so
Good.
thought I'd come in,
That's it.
take a little visit.
Come and have a little chit.
Yeah.
Little chit-chat.
That's right, a little chit-chat.
Yeah, sounds good. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
So, I know that you are into yoga and Buddhism,
Mm-hmm.
I know they're not the same thing, but they often go hand in hand. Like
Yeah.
people often will do both.
Yeah.
The yoga is obviously the flexible movement side of things.
Yeah.
What's the Buddhism side of it for you?
So, I mean, in hindsight, they sort of do correlate together as one, because you have people that study Buddhism, and then you have people that do yoga, and then you've got monks and you have yogis.
Yeah.
So it kind of does boil down to a similar thing where you use breathing techniques, involve your life with suffering, enduring pain. This is all forms of Buddhism, but it's
Okay.
also with yoga. So they kind of count, like they're pretty much the same, but obviously yoga, it's more of a mind-body thing.
Right.
Buddhism is a whole different thing when it comes to the spiritual, mental, path of trying to find enlightenment. And
Right.
Buddhism, we sort of go by, this life that we all live in now is called samsara, and samsara is basically, to break it down, it means a life of suffering.
Okay.
It's very hard to explain that to normal
Yeah.
people that don't do Buddhism, but
Yeah.
basically we believe in Dharma, or the Buddhists believe in Dharma.
Yeah.
And there's a book called Dhammapada, which is basically old scriptures and sayings from the Buddha. But I mean, we can go on for ages. There's lots of Buddhas.
Yeah.
So you can have...
Because they reincarnate, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So basically there's many Buddhas. There's many forms of Buddhas.
Okay.
It's confusing to the people that don't obviously know about it. So
Yeah.
I'll try and get into depth a little bit more about it. But
Yeah, do.
it's just an everyday thing where, I sort of wake up and, when I go to work, I'm not really Buddhist at all, because you can't really practice Buddhism in this world that we're living in.
this Western world, and
Yeah.
particularly like for yourself, fast-paced chef type of environment and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you have all these emotions that you can't have in Buddhism. So you can't have an ego, you can't have desire,
Right.
you can't have these feelings that the world that we live in, we have all around us. So
Temptation.
yeah, so usually guaranteed one, but I try and get 2 days a week, where I just focus on Buddhism. I go to temple, I do my yoga,
Yeah.
I meditate, I do all sorts of...
Because you sent me a text a few days ago, maybe it was a week ago, I can't
Probably
remember.
a week ago, yeah.
Yeah, and you were at a temple.
Yeah, that's right, yep. So basically what happened there was, I've been going to that temple for a while, on and off.
Yeah.
But basically last week I went, and it was quite special because I actually dressed up in my monk robe.
Oh,
So
wow.
I actually have a monk robe. So
Yeah, okay.
I dressed up in that, and I thought I'd just go there wearing that instead of my normal clothes.
Yeah.
And I was down there blessing the Buddhas. There was
Well, you've got the right look. You've got the right look.
So there was 28 Buddhas around in a circle, like statues kind of thing.
Okay,
And basically I was blessing the Buddhas, each one of the Buddhas. And then I look up on the balcony where the house is, where the monks live. And the monk came out, like the head monk came out, and he's like doing this to me. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what have I done now?
But not Moroccan Jew.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, what have I done now? So then 4 monks came out and followed him, and they all did the same thing, and then they started walking down towards me, and I'm like, oh, shit, what have I done? So anyway, they came down, and they asked me where I was ordained.
Oh shit! Yeah, because you're dressed up as a monk.
So they thought that I was an
actual monk.
ordained monk.
Yeah.
So I practice, I'll get onto that later, but I sort of do practice a lot of monkism.
You
kind
monkey
of ways.
around.
Yeah, I monkey around.
Yeah.
But basically, I told them that I just, I do deep meditation, yoga, and I'm heavily into Buddhism and stuff. And then they sort of were very silent, and they were observing me. They weren't
Do you think it bothered them that you addressed?
I didn't think they had any thoughts because they're monks, and I know the training process they have to get to. So they didn't have any, we call it monkey mind. So they didn't have any like ego, jealousy, anger, frustration, nothing. They just seemed very blank, and then
Just purely observant.
yeah, and then they followed on by saying, "Do you want to come upstairs and we'll you can have lunch?" And that's when I just got butterflies, and I'm like, "Oh, this is happening!" Like,
Yeah.
But when I got up there, I was pretty.
So you did. You went up and had.
Yeah, I was pretty sure
had
this
some
would happen
lentils.
though. So they offered me lunch and invited me for lunch, and I came upstairs. But I went and sat on the balcony.
Yeah.
They had me sit on the balcony, and then the monks had their lunch in another room. So basically,
Oh, okay.
they won't allow you to eat with them,
Sure.
unless you're an
Sure.
ordained monk.
But they wanted to
But
feed you. Yeah.
the general offering of
Yeah.
come and have lunch was enough to make me feel really good.
Yeah.
And so all that food I ate it's hard to explain, but it was amazing. Like it felt blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt really blessed. And I left there just feeling fucking amazing, to be honest.
Awesome.
And then I went to the gym and did yoga afterwards. And for like 10 minutes, it's probably about 10 minutes when I was walking down to the gym, my brain was different for 10 minutes. It's hard to explain, but it was just, there was no thoughts like I usually have thoughts. So, if I see someone walking across, I'll make judgment on that person.
Right.
And nothing, like this just didn't happen for 10 minutes.
Right.
And I thought something happened, like fucking put something in my food or something or whatever. But it was just, I think just the whole being there and being socializing with them, I think sort of changed it.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, so that was a good experience, and yeah, I'm pretty heavily into it. And one day I do actually want to become a monk.
Do you really? I was
do.
actually going to ask that. I was going to
do.
ask, do you feel like that might be a calling?
It's almost a guarantee. The only thing is I'm not ready to unplug myself from society.
Yeah.
And it's very selfish for me to say that, but
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that I would personally view it as selfish. I think that's just how it is, and it's probably realistic. And it's, you know, so you're kind of going like, well, I'm still on this part of my journey.
yeah,
Life is made up of many, many journeys.
Yeah.
And you're still on that one, but maybe you can see the fork in the road.
yeah.
And, you're not at that fork yet, but you can see that there is a fork ahead.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And because you are very plugged into modern society, which we'll talk about, like with the crypto.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get much more modern,
Exactly.
And
that's hence the reason.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one because I want to get to a stage where not to have a lot of money and be rich, but just to have the financial freedom
Yeah.
that if anything arises, if something goes wrong, when I am an ordained monk, like if my dad gets sick or my mum gets sick or if something like this happens, I can help.
Yeah.
I'd still help the outside world.
Yeah.
But when you're a monk, you don't have anything. Like you have to give away your technology,
Yeah.
your money, your house, your mother and father,
Yeah.
your brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
You have to release all of this. So
Yeah.
it's something I really want to do, but I'm just not ready for
you're
it
not ready.
yet.
That's good. I think I personally actually think it's a really healthy way to look at it because it's kind of like you're taking the rosy glasses off. You're not just looking at it through like this kind of like, oh, it'll be wonderful and that's that. You're kind of like, well, hang on, the reality is this, and this. I'm not quite ready for that yet.
Yep.
But that way, hopefully, and I would imagine when you are ready for it, you genuinely are because you've actually gone through however long that is between now and then.
Yeah.
You've gone through that process of figuring it all out and making sure that it is what you want.
Yeah.
All that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's more of a self journey for me at the moment. Just something that I'm happy doing by myself.
Yeah.
And it's also leading me up to what I want to get to. So, that 1 or 2 days that I do practice, it's basically getting my mindset into a monk's mindset or a Buddhist mindset. So, I practice that for the 2 days. Then when I go to work, I try and also utilize that in certain aspects. So if something arises you naturally get angry or upset or frustrated about, I check myself and ask, why am I upset? What's making me upset? What's making me angry?
Yeah.
And then I analyze that situation and go from there.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done, though.
Yeah, of course it is. Absolutely. Have you thought about doing like a Buddhist Retreat. You know, like a 1 week or a 10-day or a 2 week or whatever, however long they go for.
I've done one.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did one for a week in Chenerizic in the Sunshine Coast.
Okay.
I found it pretty good, but I was, what's the word? Not anxious, impatient.
Yeah.
I was too impatient.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, just, like having, weed in my system and alcohol and stuff from the previous days leading up to going there.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have been beneficial.
Yeah, sure.
I did get some stuff from it, but I find I get more stuff just learning, self-teaching myself.
Yeah, doing it in your time.
From like gurus I follow on YouTube and, because we're in a pretty digital era, and I find that you can learn anything on YouTube.
YouTube's amazing. I love YouTube.
You really can.
It's my favorite channel, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what you call them, a platform. My favorite platform, I guess. I don't know, but I love it because you can search anything, man. You get into that rabbit hole.
100%. Yep.
Fuck, I spend hours and hours. If I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, which happens a lot of the time, I don't like it, but it's how it is. I'll wake up, I can't get back to sleep.
Yep.
I just grab my phone. It's not good. I've got the blue light going on. It's only making me more and more awake.
Yep.
But I just start searching shit on YouTube, whatever it might be. I really like listening to podcasts, funnily enough.
Yeah.
But it probably stands to reason.
Yeah.
But some of them, like Ricky Gervais's one,
Yeah,
it's old, right? It's
funny,
old, but it's so good. Ricky with Carl and Stephen Merchant. And I'll just often put that on, flip my phone like face down so that there's no light.
Yeah.
And then just fall asleep, listen to them just talk shit. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
He was good in
He was one of the first podcasts.
Idiot Abroad.
Yeah, Carl Pilkington.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic, like
Yeah.
British humour,
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You're really into podcasts as well. Like
I love them.
Yeah.
Not so much recently I've sort of gotten into more just watching my gurus and stuff at night. Like especially after work, I just sort of watch them. But probably a few weeks ago, I was just watching Kevin Hart and for years,
you got me into Kevin Hart's podcast,
years
Heart to Heart.
Yeah,
It's
for
really
years I've been watching Joe Rogan, like from his original, and Lex Friedman and
Lex is great.
Mike Tyson's got a pretty good one. And
Does Mike Tyson have a podcast?
yeah, he's got a podcast.
See, I've seen him on plenty of people's, but I didn't know that he had
yeah,
one.
it's called Hotboxing with Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Yeah. He gets like gangsters and rappers and stuff
Yeah.
on. So
actually, maybe I had. I think I saw one where he was chatting with Eminem.
yeah,
I think
that's yep.
Yeah.
So he's got some as well, but I've sort of, like I said, I've steered away and I'm just watching gurus and meditation techniques and yoga practices and and I try and read like 2 hours every day on the bus on the way to work, to and from.
Yeah, right.
Just to get that mental,
Yeah.
just little things I keep like adding to my daily things of stuff to do.
So even though you're kind of like only dedicating maybe 2 days a week, it's still part of your
I
your
think about
life.
it all day, every day. It's
Yeah.
the thing I always think about.
Yeah.
Constantly thinking about not necessarily becoming a better person, because the definition of being a better person depends on your perspective of a person.
100%.
So
That's a very good point.
So it's not something like something like smoking weed, drinking and stuff.
Yeah.
You're not a Buddhist just because you do things like this. You can pledge certain things, like there's certain paths you can do, but the problem is this is desire.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I'm not ready to leave this
Desire.
world yet, because
Yeah.
I can't get rid of this yet. I haven't attempted to get rid of it, but when I do get to that stage, then we'll be fighting those battles. But
Yeah, exactly.
at the
and those are
moment-
going to be new demons.
yeah, at the moment it's just mental,
Yeah.
trying to just get the Dharma thinking and logic, don't have emotions when you see something and react to things, because that's just not the way we get taught in Buddhism. Reacting on stuff is usually, it all resorts to selfish emotions, ego. So it's not easy to get rid of any of that stuff, because we get instilled as young children
Yeah.
from our parents, their parents, their parents. This has been stemmed back thousands, I don't know how many years, but it's something that's very difficult to get out of. And we believe that, if you don't have a good life in this life and understand some form of enlightenment, you're coming back.
Yeah.
And you're going to come back and come back and come back.
Until you
learn.
get it right.
Until you learn.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to achieve some form in this life. So if I do come back in this life, the next one,
Yeah.
hopefully I pick it up a bit quicker.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to not come back in this life, because Buddhism, we believe this is a form of suffering. Like this world is suffering.
Yeah.
Again,
I agree
very
with
hard
that.
to explain.
No, but I agree with that. I think that this world is suffering.
So yeah,
So it's different from the Hare Krishna's version of reincarnation,
a little
I
bit.
believe, because
A little bit.
like,
Hare
isn't
Krishna's-
Hare Krishna's version of reincarnation that you come back but as a different being,
A different form.
Yeah.
So yeah,
like a squirrel? or something?
to a point. Like Hare Krishna is very similar with Hinduism. They're both very similar. So the temples, Hare Krishna temples, again, they have a Buddha. You know,
Okay.
so for example, Gautam Buddha is
Hare Krishnas have some awesome fucking
is
food.
the 9th Buddha, and then the Hindu has like the 10th Buddha. I don't know the exact ones, but
Yeah.
there's different Buddhas for different religions.
Yeah.
But they all believe in the Buddha. So
Okay.
it's a very, very. I think it's quote me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the second biggest religion in the world now.
Hare Krishna?
Buddhism.
Buddhism, yeah, okay. But which Buddhism though, right? Because there's Japanese.
Many.
There's heaps. So which is is it like Tibetan or
basically-
is it Thai or is it like
Well, many people have different beliefs, like different understandings. But from what I gather, the original, or like my Buddha, came from India and Nepal.
Okay.
So he was like in Nepal, and he was going over, crossing the border to India, and then going back to Nepal.
Okay.
But what was happening is disciples and people were stealing scriptures and stuff from Buddha to write this Dhammapada, the book.
Yeah.
And then long time ago, other countries were taking scriptures and bringing it back to their country. So if you have Zen Buddhism, they've stole scriptures to form their own form of Buddhism by learning from the Buddha.
Okay.
So they've created their own Buddhist using all the same guidance and principles.
Yeah.
But they've just created their own form, like a Chinese version and like
Yeah.
a Japanese and a Korean version.
Sure. Which Christianity has been doing since Christianity was formed.
Of course.
You know, because you've got fractions and you've got different things like that, and then people they don't quite agree with just this part, or it doesn't quite suit their narrative.
Yeah.
So they just create another sect or another version of it.
Yep.
Rightly or wrongly, that's just what happens.
Exactly.
So by the sounds of it, it's very similar within Buddhism.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, that's my jam. That's what I secretly enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
And
so-
I try not to share too much. You obviously know a little bit
yeah.
because you've known me for a while, but I don't really talk and harp on about it.
Yeah, only share what you want to share.
Yeah, I don't mind talking.
Particularly when it comes to personal things like that. People,
Yeah.
you know, I think most people do keep, particularly I think around faiths and stuff like that. And I know that Buddhism is it's more of a way of life rather than religion as such, but nonetheless, it still can be considered a faith.
Yeah.
Because it can be very easily misconstrued, ridiculed, whatever, and very, very hard, and I think unnecessary for people to have to try and justify it or whatever.
That's
to someone
why
else.
I don't talk
So,
about it. 'Cause
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
feel like I need to just give it any justification.
Exactly.
And
Like I try these days. I try not to ask someone about their religion unless I know that it's okay to. Do you know
I
what
don't
mean?
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I
With you, I
I
don't
checked
mind.
with you before the podcast
Exactly.
started. You know what I mean? Like, but otherwise, I try not to, because it can be a very difficult thing to actually be able to explain, and people I think also they can feel like they're having to justify it, and it's like you don't have to justify whatever your beliefs.
That's right.
You know?
And it's tricky when you're a white guy born in England.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You're born in
very
England. I always
easy-
forget that you're
It's
England.
very easy for people to judge and go, well, you're not Buddhist because you're not Indian, or you're not this, because
Yeah.
they don't have a conception and
Yeah.
understanding of what it means and what it's about.
And you
So
know the fucking hilarious thing
it's
is,
easier to just not say anything.
yeah, for sure. But the thing that I think is hilarious is that the people that say that sort of thing would be, you know, like Middle America, like Bible Belt type of thing.
Yeah.
And they're like that type of person. They go, well, you can't be Buddhist because you're not brown skinned.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute, just take a seat for a minute, Mary Jane,
Yeah.
because you're banging on about Christianity. Are you at all aware of where Jesus is from?
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
he's actually not from Costco.
Yeah.
Actually born in Bethlehem in the Middle East somewhere. I don't know exactly where,
Yeah.
but not fucking anywhere near where you grew up.
Yeah.
So jump back in your little Ford pickup, get the fuck out of here.
That's right. I mean, in all honesty, all of these religions stem back to the same thing, just having a loyal faith on something. They're all very similar like that. You know, if you have faith in a religion or a faith in something,
Yeah,
it's pretty much a religion. You know.
exactly.
So if you believe in Jesus, that's fine. If you believe in Buddha, that's fine. If you're Muslim or it doesn't really matter to me. I appreciate all religions.
Yeah.
And I respect all religions. I just have my own, which
Yeah.
isn't really. It's kind of.
It's a lifestyle.
It's almost like an atheist religion, but
Yeah.
I still have a faith in a certain thing that lived and
Yeah.
achieved lots of things that we can't achieve. So
Yeah.
that's where my faith lies, and
Yeah.
I don't want to attain his enlightenment, but I want to source some forms, which I've found a couple, which I'm not going to talk about, but I've found a couple just doing my own learning and experience, reading and YouTube especially, as in regarding meditation techniques. Like,
Can you push that door shut?
meditation techniques that involve focusing on specific parts of your body, and your mind can alter the state of that part of your body that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
So, like, if I think about my right foot, I can relax that to a state where I can feel
It's making me want to do it right now.
lots of stuff happening. It's actually called yoga nidra.
Okay.
If anyone wants to look it up, you won't find
Yoga Nidra.
You won't find a lot on YouTube, but it's a form of meditation that I think you'll find most people that can't meditate, it's their best option.
Okay. Because the meditation that I have been taught, lack of a better word, but had explained to me, is probably better than taught.
Yeah.
And that I've tried, it's centered around focusing on my breathing, and I know that some people say with meditation, it doesn't matter if you're focusing on your breathing or not. But this is just the way I've been taught.
It definitely
is to just focus on your breathing, to get rid of the chatter, and to just focus on the breathing. It's so much harder to do than what it sounds.
So
Much harder.
The key problem is whoever told you that you can't get rid of the chatter. It's impossible.
Yeah, yeah,
Any deep meditation guy will tell you you cannot get rid of the monkey mind.
yeah,
It's impossible. It does not happen.
yeah.
What you need to do is focus on your breath work and watch the thoughts come in
Oh, sorry, no, they did say that.
and let the thoughts go.
let them
Just
come
like
in, but
it's-
just don't dwell on
It's
them.
like you're thinking
Yeah, don't feed the trolls. Basically,
you're a freeway
Yeah,
and everything's just coming past,
Yeah,
coming past.
no, they were that. Sorry,
And
they did say that.
You've removed yourself from the feelings of it
Yeah,
and you're just observing as a third person.
yeah.
So that's probably a better way to explain what
Yeah.
they were trying to teach you. But
Yeah, no, yeah, that sounds more similar to what they did say. I definitely sort of misquoted it first there, but when you're talking about the like relaxing of the right foot or whatever it might be, there's a technique that I've done many times when trying to go to sleep. Like if I can't fall asleep, and this doesn't happen often because I can fall asleep really easily. My problem is staying asleep, but I can fall asleep really fast.
Yep.
But every now and then, like anyone else, I can't. And so I'll lie there and I'll focus on my big toe.
Yep.
And I will just focus on that and like, okay, that's relaxed now. And now the rest of my toes, and now my foot, and now my ankle.
Yeah.
But it's not a race. Like it's actually getting it relaxed. So first of all, you've got to start with being in a really relaxed position, a comfortable position, because if you move, you've got to start again.
Yep.
I probably have never made it to my hips before I've fallen asleep because you're
That's
just
good.
relaxing, just focusing on relaxing. And so it is a form of meditation because even though my mind might be then like, oh, this, I'm not actually entertaining those thoughts.
Yeah.
They're floating around, but I'm not entertaining them.
That's right.
I'm focused on, instead of breathing in that instance, I'm focused on, I'm relaxing my toe.
Yeah.
I can feel my toe is comfortable, and now the rest of my foot, and now my ankle, so on.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever gotten past my hip.
Yeah. And I think that's also just that simple thing I explained stems back to everything if you think deeply enough. So why are we all trying to meditate now? Why we live in a world everyone wants to meditate and nobody can meditate? The simple fact is it's very difficult because when we were born into a world of just everything's going on, just everything's happening, and we get plugged in very quickly, and we don't get to experience, like maybe from the age up to 5 years old, you might experience some of this stuff because your brain's not really quite developed yet.
Yeah.
But then it's almost too late, and then you get older, then you want to revert back to, let's see if we feel like, essentially it's like having an orgasm. Your whole body's like having an orgasm, but it's not stopping. It's not for a few seconds. So you think about, work your way up this side, then you work your way up this side, and then you start from here, and then by the time you relax, you're concentrating on your eyelids, you're out.
Yeah, exactly. But like I say, I don't even think I've made it past my hips before I pass out. But that might also be because I don't typically have difficulty going to sleep. I just have difficulty falling asleep.
When you can do this, you then, if you have a sore neck, bad back, got diarrhea, you've got a cold, you can get rid of all this.
Right.
Very simply by focusing your mind on whatever problematic area you have. Yep.
Yeah, right.
Sounds wacky, doesn't it? But
well, not necessarily wacky, but
it definitely does work.
Sounds out there.
It's dedication, focus, and
So that's what do you call it? Yogi.
Yoga Nidra. That one's called
Yogi Ninjas.
Yoga Nidra. It's a very ancient form of meditation.
Okay.
It's a very old form, and it's basically between deep sleep and awake state of mind. So you're in between those two stages.
Right.
Yep. You should try it out.
Yeah. I'm interested. I'm interested because it sounds like I was just saying with my sleep thing. It sounds like I've kind of been doing maybe a version of it.
Like if you have a stomach ache, you can get rid of it in under a minute. You just have to get your mind. To the toilet. Well, that too. But you can get your mind to control. If you can relax yourself and focus just on that area, that target area, it'll go.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sounds crazy, I know. This is why we don't talk much about this crazy shit, because people just are quick to go, but you and I fucking cooked.
But you and I do, and people are quick to judge.
Which
that
is
sort
fine.
Of thing. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. But you and I do talk about this kind of stuff a lot. We do, and many other things, which I'm sure of which we will touch on quite a few. It's fascinating, and it's one of those things where it's like I want to know more, but I don't necessarily. I don't know what I don't know, so I don't know what to ask because
it's tricky.
I don't know.
It's tricky. That's like what I like to do in my own time is yoga, meditation, and learn about Buddhism and previous yogis that have lived 100,000 years ago, and I read their books on the way to work, and try and the yogas for basically I don't want to get to a stage where my body starts decreasing. I've seen most, if not all, yogis that I follow, they're walking around better than we are at 95 years old. So for me, I like to just analyze, observe, and then proofs in the pudding kind of attitude. So if I see many yogis, if not all yogis, and they're in their 70s, 80s, 90 years old, and they're walking around and talking like they're perfectly fine, my brain thinks, that's a good thing. We need to start doing it.
Yeah, exactly. What do they know that we don't know? What do they do that we don't do?
I try and live that life with most things. Like it's analyze, work out if it's effective.
Yeah.
And if it works because they're the proof, then let's add that as an attribute to start doing, Yeah,
it's a good way to look at it. Well, that's all very interesting indeed, but not quite as interesting as today's sponsor. No, I'm just kidding. We're not sponsored by anyone. But have you had Spey River?
I have.
You have. You got me a bottle, not this one. I've had several since then.
For your birthday?
You did, for my birthday. That was lovely. It's fucking good. Do you want a tipple?
Yes, why not? Yeah, it's not fucking top of the line, but it's not a bad drop for the price,
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And it's a single malt, I'm pretty sure, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Single malt Scotch whiskey.
Hence why we don't need the rocks we don't need the pebbles in the glass for that one.
Yeah, that's right. I do like mine with a splash of water, but that's just because that's how I like it. But I think you got water there if you want some.
I do. Drink this one. It'll be much better for you.
Do you reckon?
Absolutely.
This is that fucking magic water.
Correct.
Tell me about it.
Alkaline water. So basically, most water
Everyday hydration.
Most
Alkaline.
water you're going to find has got fluoride, it's got chlorine, it's got all sorts of stuff in it.
Oh,
right?
sweet.
Yeah, that's why I gave it to you. Alkaline water is essentially, it's been filtered. It can be filtered with marine. It can be filtered like you can make alkaline water just by putting a slice of lemon, cucumber in water for 24 hours.
Oh, okay. I have that. Oh, for 24 hours? I
Yep.
don't know.
And then the next day you drink it, and that will raise the alkaline levels of the water.
So is it high? It's higher pH than normal
Yeah,
water.
it's like that one's 9 to 10 pH.
Right.
So basically, about 30 or 40 years ago, again, don't quote me, a Japanese guy, I don't know his name, he basically came up with the concept that water, basically our human bodies are very acidic.
Yeah.
And no disease can grow in an alkaline environment was his quote. So when you think about that, and we get told we have a very acidic body,
Yeah.
hence why humans get so much disease and sickness.
Mm-hmm.
So my theory is if you drink alkaline water, you're balancing out the acidity of your everyday, I need coffee, I need sugar, I need
Yeah.
whatever it is you're eating is generally very acidic.
Yeah.
There's few things that are like high in alkalinity. So it's hard to source this stuff. And my theory is this is why humans have a lot of disease in life.
Right.
Based on scientific evidence from a doctor. So, and that guy disappeared off the face of the earth shortly after he claimed that. So to me, it's very skeptical. And,
Yeah.
and that
No
what
shortage
drew
of
me into
those.
researching about alkaline water. And
Yeah.
I only drink alkaline water pretty much 90%
right.
of the time.
What do you think about these like people just mysteriously disappearing? Do you know about the 411? 411?
No.
Okay, so
Missing 411.
missing 411.
No, I haven't heard of it.
So
Cheers.
cheers, brother. Cheers. Good to see you. Good to have you here.
Likewise.
So the missing 411. Seth, are you able to just check that I'm not talking out of my ass completely? But I'm pretty sure it goes something along the lines of in America, like USA's national parks, of which there are many and they're vast.
Yeah.
There people go like mysteriously missing, like disappear a lot, often.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure it's only around those people. Might not be though. But it is to do with people that have mysteriously disappeared. Like there's one example, one case rather, where like a boy was with his family, like they're having a picnic or they were camping or something like that, and this young boy was like, 10 meters away. He was right there. And then they turn around and they're chatting or they're doing something, and like less than a minute later they turn back like, hey Bobby, and he's just not there. So obviously like, what the fuck? And it's a big open field and all that sort of thing, and they're running around trying to find him, and then of course a search party is called out and bloodhounds, like sniffer dogs and all that sort of, and just vanished, just literally no longer there. And yeah, they're the missing 411. I don't know if 411 is because there is 411 people. I don't actually know what the 411 is.
I've seen the movie, and
I didn't even know there was a movie.
It's actually a movie or a documentary, and I believe you can watch it free on YouTube, or
Ooh.
you can watch it on YouTube, or there's a rental fee or something for it.
That's me
Because
tonight.
the money goes to finding these people and finding out the truth, so to speak, or questioning the truth and try to work it out.
Yeah.
So I think you took on initially 411 cases, I believe.
Okay.
Which were unique cases.
Yeah. Like bizarre circumstances.
These are the searches that he started to search for or take out of his algorithm. Take out domestic violence stuff, right?
Yeah.
Take out drugs or any sort of criminal things, because they all happen, right? They just take them out of the algorithm. Don't search for these.
Yeah.
Elderly found in mysterious ways, or found suddenly weeks later, or something like that, unharmed sort of scenarios.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so those are the cases that sort of narrowed down to these 411 cases.
Yeah.
And then he started to try and get documented information about those specifics in those areas, and the parks wouldn't give him the information.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he started to find out all this stuff, and then
They were not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
Curious.
So
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah. So it was a really big deal, and he actually got funding to make it happen for them to go through the paperwork document over all these years.
Yeah.
He had to pay for it all. They weren't at all pleased.
Yeah.
Because the rangers don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then so
It's really interesting. It's really fascinating.
Fascinating.
Yeah, really.
There's a lot of random stories like that all over the world.
Yeah.
Like just very ones like obviously with aliens and stuff. But I mean,
Well, that's what I was getting at.
even-
Do you think that could be it?
of course, I mean,
do.
even there's
I
a place in Utah. It's called Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, oh, fuck, man. Skinwalker Ranch blows my mind.
And-
It's so scary, but incredibly fascinating.
But if you look at enough of that information that they feed us about Skinwalker Ranch, it's quite interesting with not just the cattle mutilations, but there's been stories on that ranch specifically of like cattle the next day being up in a tree.
Yes, exactly.
And they're still alive, but they're just up in a tree.
Yeah.
Or they're locked in a pen.
Yes.
That has been like they're big metal steel doors, like a shipping container trailer.
Yeah.
But they're all perfectly packed in there with
Yeah.
perfection of space levels
Yeah.
and everything, and it's all mathematically too perfect.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stories, and also about the dogs that transform, and there's lots of
Yeah, like the creatures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the orbs of light.
And
And
I'm
stuff.
very, very.
Do you know the podcast? It's not a podcast. It's a YouTube channel called Mr. Ballin.
No.
He's amazing. He's got some awesome shit. Mr. Ballin, Ballen.
Yeah.
He's an ex-Navy SEAL. He's only young. Like,
Unfortunately, though, getting into this, I actually watched a series on, I think it was Binge or Netflix.
Yeah.
And it was about Skinwalker Ranch.
yeah,
I think they called it the Skinwalker or something, or just Skinwalker.
yeah,
Now, unfortunately, that actually made me not believe as much as I did when I watched the YouTube stuff. Because the YouTube stuff, generally, you'd either have a narrator, like narrating the story, and then they're giving you like comic images. And then there was other people showing you different scenarios, but they're all kind of like cartoonish kind of things. Now, when the scientist and the people, Bigelow, his name is, he basically bought the ranch after the...
and he started the scientific research
Jeff
program.
Bigelow, I think it is, yeah. But
He started the scientific research program.
a billionaire guy. But
Yeah.
prior to him were the people that I was curious about.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that experienced the most weird stuff.
Yeah,
Like
the family that
the
sold
pantry,
it to
the
them.
cupboard doors opening, like the
Very
shop,
paranormal.
shopping missing, like just random stuff, the dog's gone mental. And so that was interesting. But then when I watched the documentary, I kind of reverted back to its bullshit. Because the scientists there...
Who's created the documentary?
Well, this is
what is their
I
motive?
believe-
What is their narrative?
I believe the prior people that live there, but I call bullshit on the series that they created because they've made it into a way to
Like it's cash cow.
market and manipulate
Yeah.
a series into
Yeah.
this is what happened and what we heard. So let's try and make this happen. Or like let's predict it's going to happen and stuff. So
But
it
if it
makes it exciting for TV.
But if it happened to
You
the
know?
people that sold Skinwalker to that dude,
They don't talk to anyone about it though.
I know. But if it did happen to them, then if that did happen, then why wouldn't it?
You'd
have
think
also
some
happened?
things
Do you
would
know what I
happen,
mean?
but-
has it been sensationalized and stuff? Yeah, quite possibly. But some of that cattle mutilation and stuff like that, like
It happens all over the world.
exactly. It's not just there.
There's like, especially in France and Europe,
Yeah.
Mexico. it
Around,
happens-
around areas where I've had the crop circles and stuff. Crop circles, fuck me, they're amazing.
That's another thing.
Anyone
too.
tells me that crop circle was made by man, I'm like, you're smoking crack.
Oh,
There's no
but
way that
I'm-
there was someone out there with
I'm
a
quite
piece
sure
of
that-
wood flattening down, and making that exact pattern.
I'm quite sure that there was some farmers in the world over the last 30, 40 years that have attempted to do
Yeah, but they'll be
to
the
get
crop
attention.
circles that look like shit.
Yeah,
that are,
exactly.
That are obviously man-made.
And you can clearly tell because overnight you'll be able to look and go, well, you can't achieve that overnight. You know
and that's
what
the thing; it's overnight, and there's no evidence of someone going in there or anything like that. But it's the size of it and the precision.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yep. Absolutely.
Incredible. But there's no secret that I'm 100% a believer that aliens exist, and pretty certain that we have had visitations of varying degrees.
It's almost certain that we're interdimensional species. There's no real question in that. I mean,
Well, yeah, exactly. I think it's
leading on
ridiculous for people to think that we're the only intelligent life.
leading on to another topic, which is quite interesting and does correlate a little bit to a sense, is there's a drug in the world that our brain produces, and you can also smoke it as well. But basically, this chemical is called 5-methoxydimethyltryptamine, short for
DMT.
DMT.
Yeah,
Now, this drug is produced in our liver, it's produced in our brain,
yeah,
and the experience of death is nothing to be worried about from where I'm concerned, because that chemical gets released just before you die. So I'll give you an example. If you're driving in a car and you're about to have a head-on collision, the whole experience of death, it gets blown away when that DMT chemical releases.
release.
There you go into your different dimensions.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds crazy, but I've smoked it a few times.
You've
Most
had DMT?
recently, 2 months ago.
Oh, right.
And I smoked enough, and I got launched into a whole different place.
Yeah.
And in that place, there is interdimensional beings.
Yeah,
They're not alien looking,
yeah.
but they're not from here.
They're not.
And I
Are they
can't-
humanoid?
No,
Okay.
no, but they do speak to you.
Yeah,
They talk to you,
yeah,
and they mimic you. It depends on what happens, but with me, it was a very at first there was just lots of colors, and I was going into the colors, geometrical colors and shapes and colors put together, but moving, and it's like a tunnel, and you're going into the tunnel, and as you're going through it, they pop up in different corners, and they pop up in different scenarios, and it looks kind of like a fairy tale, like an old fairy tale kind of thing, very colorful, and the colors make you feel so much love.
yeah. Right.
But these things come up and they sort of do stuff to you that, they give you riddles. They like riddles. They'll say something to you that makes you think. Mm-hmm. And then you spend weeks afterwards thinking about, what the fuck? What did it actually mean?
yeah,
But it's very short lived. It's 15 minutes, but it feels like it's a couple of days. But it's very fast. It's a hard thing to explain, but I think when people die, this chemical that scientists and doctors still don't understand,
Yeah.
I think this is what happens when we die. So people fearing death because of the pain and suffering, I don't think it occurs. I think you get thrown into this.
and then you're just permanently in it.
Yep. And this is where the
That's
soul,
cool. I'm
the
down with
soul
that.
leaves this vessel
Yeah,
and it goes off.
yeah, yeah.
And so it also entwines in with my belief of Buddhism as well. So
Sure.
I tend to believe DMT is maybe not something we should be smoking and abusing, but it's in everybody. It's in the grass.
Yeah.
It's in trees. It's in everything.
Well, even just nicotine, right? Even nicotine, we naturally produce nicotine.
yeah.
And
It's good for you in moderation.
well, yeah, but also as one of the reasons why we get so easily and heavily addicted to nicotine is because basically we say to our bodies, you don't need to make nicotine anymore. I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah.
And so our bodies stop producing nicotine because they're getting it through cigarettes or
Yeah.
a vape or whatever it is.
Yep.
And then when we try to stop, our body's like, hang on, bro, we had a deal.
Yeah.
You were going to give me the nicotine, so I stopped making it. And I can't just suddenly start making it now, not easily anyway. Or even if it does, instead of this much that it would have made, we've been giving it this much.
Yeah, I
know?
think the only thing that would differ from those two ingredients is nicotine's highly addictive,
Yeah.
and DMT is not addictive at all.
Right.
When you finish your DMT trip, you're not thinking of having another one. You're
Yeah.
not having another one for 6 months at least.
Yeah.
It's not a process you really want to endure. It's very there's another one called, most people are probably aware of it, ayahuasca. And the difference between DMT...
Is ayahuasca the one that comes from cactus?
No. So they call it vine of the gods, and it's predominantly grown in Peru, in the Amazon. And shamans go out and pick the leaves and everything, and they call it the vine of the gods as their, captioned word for it.
Yeah.
But basically, they grab all the leaves from that, and then they also get DMT from other plant sources. Over there, I'm not sure what they use, but over here we use the acacia tree
Yeah, okay.
to extract DMT.
Okay.
Because it's in every living thing, so you can extract it. Some trees and plants have more abundance than the rest. So they extract that, they extract the DMT, and then they make a brew, and the brew is called ayahuasca. Now, when you drink this brew, you're more than likely going to purge and throw up for quite a while.
Yeah.
Like 20, 30, 40 minutes. But then after that, this lasts for hours. So it's like your DMT trip because it's got DMT in it. But because you're having it orally, it gives you a different effect than smoking it.
Right.
And because you're having another chemical compound added to it, you're actually getting a more longevity out of it. So it lasts for hours.
Right.
And then
Because
apparently...
DMT, like if you just smoke DMT, it's like a 15-minute thing. Isn't
It's
it?
just a fast, boom, you're there. It just shoots.
But it doesn't last.
It fucking shoots you. Where DMT is, ayahuasca is a bit more slowly.
Yeah.
But it's a more prolonged experience.
Sure.
DMT is just thump, off you go, if you have the right amount.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but there's a guy on YouTube as well who...
Hamilton Morris.
Is that the guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he sets his camera up and stuff, and he'll try different drugs. He'll have shrooms or acid or.
Oh, it might not
it
be
is.
him. No.
And DMT was one of them, and that one had heaps and heaps of views. That was one of the ones that I watched, like millions of views.
Yeah.
But he's sitting on his bed, sort of thing. He's got his camera set up and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's talking at first about
I think I have watched him.
Yeah, I don't. That name that you said doesn't ring a bell, but it could be just someone very similar. But yeah, and he smoked it, and then he just kind of dropped back, and he had, I'm pretty sure, two cameras. So one while he's sitting there, and then one he probably knew that he was going to end up falling back on his bed. So one that was kind of facing him.
Yep.
And there's not really anything to watch, so to speak, but it doesn't seem to last terribly long. No. And then he starts to come out of it and stuff, and then straight away he just starts talking about it.
Yeah.
Before it gets clouded with real life and stuff like that.
It dissipates really quick.
Yeah, and even if it was just for his own knowledge to go back to, like a diary almost, but he obviously decided I might share that with the world.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking fascinating to watch.
It is, man. Yeah. And look, there's a dude...
I've never tried it. You can probably tell. I've never tried it. But, I don't know. Things like that. It scares me a bit.
Yeah.
It scares me.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, all this stuff I'm saying, it's all this knowledge is coming from another person. It's not me.
Yeah.
I'm no genius. This is a guy called Hamilton Morris. And he does a podcast that's called Pharmacopoeia. He also used to be on Vice. He was one of the original people from Vice.
Yeah.
And he used to go around to Peru and take ayahuasca. He'd go to Mexico and take the cane toad.
Yeah, right.
5-MeO DMT, which is another form of DMT, but you extract this from the sweat glands of a certain frog or toad.
Like the cane toad here?
No, different, but it's over in South America.
Yeah.
And they basically tickle the frog. And
make it start to...
they excrete the sweat and then dry it out on
Who
glass.
the fuck
and then
ever thought to first do that, though?
Shamans.
Whoever first was see that sweaty looking frog over there? You want to smoke it?
It's the same with ayahuasca.
Who the fuck thought that?
Well, if you think about all these drugs, peyote, datura, all these drugs have been found from Indian shamans and old people that are in tune with nature and the world around them, like a form of Buddhists, I suppose you could call them, but in their own godly sense. They understand what plants and flowers do, what nature can provide, which we generally rely on supermarkets and shit like that. We don't do our own research. I mean, you and I do, but a lot of people out there don't, and they just rely on, I'm hungry, what should I eat?
Yeah.
And they don't think things through, what's good for our body? What's good for this body?
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay to do stuff, but look after it as well.
Well, exactly. Like you're going to actually get more enjoyment out of it when you do decide to do DMT or have a whiskey or whatever, if you haven't destroyed it in the meantime by eating nothing but bullshit,
Yeah.
McDonald's and KFC and stuff like that. And look, don't get me wrong, I
nothing-
smash a Big Mac.
There's
I
nothing
love
wrong
a Big
with
Mac,
any of it.
but it's all in moderation. But and as you know, I love to cook, and you are a chef.
Yeah.
So that probably leads really nicely into that. Actually, I'd be
Here we
very.
go.
Here we go.
Time to get some questions.
Get
out
your
of the
knives
chat, eh?
out. So, I mean, cooking and food in general is something that I enjoy and that most people do enjoy.
Let me just stop this here, folks. Matthew is an avid cook and he's very good at it.
Oh,
and he loves his gardening. So
I do,
hence the
yeah.
questions we're about to receive.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, I do. Yeah, you helped me build my veggie garden.
I did, sort of, yes.
Yeah.
It was a struggle that time because I got sick. And
Yeah, you did.
I think it was really hot and I got sunburned.
It was
as well.
super hot. We did it in early January.
And I didn't wear
We
my
built it on
t-shirt.
like the 4th of January.
Yeah, I
It
remember
was
being
so
sore.
hot. It was so hot.
But yeah, I do remember that. And what a lovely garden it is now.
Yeah, I've got it's kicking ass. More tomatoes than I know what to do with, but I love tomatoes.
Chutney time.
Yeah,
Sauce.
and hot sauce.
Relish.
Yeah. Because I got chilies as well and
Yep.
heaps of different types of chilies. I've got snow peas, which they have gone ballistic. But where the snow peas are, and there's zucchini in that part as well, and a pumpkin vine that has just been it's a vine.
They go crazy, don't they? They like to stretch out the old pumpkin.
They do. They like to go for a little walkie, but I haven't had any pumpkins, so that can fuck off. But
The flowers are really good. High in vitamin C.
yeah, perhaps. But all of that area where the snow peas are, and then there's zucchini in front of it, and some watercress, and this pumpkin vine just in that section. That's all getting ripped out soon, and corn will go in there, and that'll just be a huge amount of corn
Yeah,
for
nice.
spring, summer.
Have you got some good herbs growing in there as well?
Yeah, I've got quite a lot of herbs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Herbs are really good for us too.
Yeah.
Very underrated.
Yeah. What would be a vegetable that, whether someone can grow it or not, but a vegetable that you think that, it's like you should have, without it being a really obscure one that no one can find, a vegetable that everyone can go and get from their local supermarket that you really should just try and have. Like broccoli is really good for you.
As in for what purpose? Like
Well,
nutrition purpose, as in an all-round vegetable that's like high in all nutritional value?
Yeah, I guess
or-
so. Yeah.
Okay. You have to let me think for that for a second. I mean, all vegetables and fruits and herbs are good for you. And they're all the same treatment as everything else in
Right.
moderation. If you have too much of something, it's not a good thing. You know? And it's like anything. Like, I have to check myself. I mean, getting away from your question, but if I was to say something that I personally have every day, that I don't tell anyone really that I take it, because I find it a secret, because I know it does wonders to my body. Because every day I have it, it feels like inside of my body just feels like, oh, thank you so much. With every part of my body, I just feel amazing. 5 to 10 minutes after I drink it, it tastes like shit. It's an Indian tree, and it's called Moringa.
Oh, you told me about Moringa a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Yeah. Now, Moringa, I drink it. It's a powder. It comes in you got to have organic, obviously. Organic Moringa powder. You basically put a teaspoon in your smoothie. I mean, you could put in your coffee if you want to ruin the taste of your coffee, or just in water.
Yeah.
And just scull it in
Just
the morning.
deal with the shit taste.
Just scull it with the morning and then drink something afterwards, because it does taste a bit rubbish, like sort of like a spinachy wheatgrass
Yeah, okay.
dirt kind of flavor. But it's one of the most, I think it is the most, what they've found so far, nutritionally highest in antibiotics, vitamins, and minerals
Wow.
than any other plant in the world.
Fuck.
Nobody really knows about it. But a lot of skin people, though, like people that create skin creams and stuff,
Yeah.
Moringa's in all of it. Because it's very high in vitamin E
Okay.
and vitamin D, which is good for our skin. So they've discovered to use it for our skin for like really expensive skin cream. But people don't realize you can just buy it organic from a health food store and just take a teaspoon a day. So I'd say that is my thing.
Yeah.
But I mean,
but where would
Reg-
one acquire this?
just an organic health food store.
Okay.
You'll have to look maybe at a few stores.
Moringa.
Moringa powder, yeah. It's not too expensive. I think 100 grams is maybe $12.
Oh, okay.
And
And
that
how-
will last you quite a while if you only have a teaspoon.
Yeah, how many teaspoons?
Oh, fuck. You'd probably get 60, 50.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
But regarding vegetables, dude, I'd
But so
probably...
you're going to get a couple of months. You're going to get a couple of months if you're having 1 teaspoon a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like everything.
I'm
like,
gonna try.
Have
I'm
2
gonna
days...
try. Could you get me a packet when you're next getting one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And try and have 2-3 days off a week. Because this is
2 or
something...
3 days without it.
Humans just go all in with shit. But
Yeah.
think moderation with everything. Because your body gets used to stuff. Like
Yeah.
when you go to the gym and you exercise the same routine every day, it's called muscle memory. Mm-hmm. So surely if our muscles can do it, our mind and everything else can do it.
Well,
So,
and our gut and stuff, which is all just
so
muscle. Anyway.
have a break and trick it and mess it up. So
Right.
have a couple of days off, take a multivitamin instead or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't think you'll need it. But
That's good advice because it's easy for people to not do something, right? It's easy for people to be like, I'm not going to fucking take it today.
Yeah.
I'm hungover and I don't want to taste that shit.
exactly.
So good. Then that's your day that you're not having it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. That's good advice.
I love Pinot Noir. But I
Moringa.
try and have 2 days off a week, you know? I don't,
Of
but I
Pinot?
try.
Yeah.
But yeah, Moringa. But with vegetables, man, like you can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
Again, just think it. Don't eat broccoli 7 days a week, and think it'll save your life because it just won't.
Yeah, of course.
But incorporate a balanced diet. I mean, everyone said, most people say it, but like have a bit of fruit, some vegetables. You know, if you eat meat, have a little bit of meat.
Yeah.
Whatever. If you like fish, have a bit of fish. It doesn't matter, but just have like bits of it all, because then each one will give you their function of
Yeah,
like,
that's true. Each
there's
one.
your minerals. I'm
Yeah.
high in antioxidants.
Yeah.
I'm really rich in iron.
Yeah.
I've got this. I've got
Yeah.
vitamin this. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is the key, I think, is having
Okay.
that blend. You know, let's have some nuts, saturated fats, and just try and incorporate it all, and
Yeah.
not large amounts.
Nuts is something that I don't have enough of, I don't think. I don't have enough of them in my diet. Yeah, I don't think.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I'm just preaching, but you're right. I don't either. I try to. Like once a week, I put cashews in my curry.
Yeah.
But it's like 100 grams a week.
Yeah, it's
You're
not really
supposed to
enough.
have, you know.
I like vegetables more than fruit.
It's probably a good thing.
Is it? Okay.
Well, Steve Jobs died of pancreatic cancer, and he was a fruitarian, so he only ate fruit.
That's just dumb. Sorry,
Mainly-
Steve, but
mainly
that's just
grapes.
fucking dumb.
No, I'm saying, it's the truth.
only eating any, like you were just saying, like you it's got to be moderation. But like that's not groundbreaking. The old moderation is not groundbreaking. But I didn't know that. So he only ate fruit. Well, of course you're gonna fucking get sick. You can't just eat
He was Buddhist as well.
apples and bananas.
He was Buddhist. He went to India and did the whole thing, studied yoga, meditation, came back and created Apple. But that's, I don't think...
Is that why he called it apple?
Yeah, he
Because of the
he
fruit
was
thing?
sitting in the car with Steve Wozniak and they were listening to Bob Dylan because he was addicted to Bob Dylan.
Wow.
He would go everywhere, had Bob Dylan.
Wow.
In the car, his headphones, it was always Bob Dylan.
Wow.
So Steve Jobs had a fascination with Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And he basically he went to India, did some meditation, yoga, and he was sitting in the car with Steve Wozniak driving home after a, you know, like when you go to a function place to like talk about a product. Like we're talking in the 90s. So they're trying to plug, you know, this vacuum cleaner, for example, but they were doing the first computer.
Yeah.
And they were trying to plug it to Stanford and Harvard people that this is going to be the new thing.
Yeah.
So on the way home, they were having a conversation of, because they thought it went quite well, the meeting, and they were going to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, what should we call this? And Steve's like, Apple. And Steve Wozniak was like, why Apple? He's like, because it's simple, and you just bite into it, and it tastes delicious.
Yeah. Right.
And he got that thought from the Buddhism thought process. So
Yeah.
it's a very simple metaphor, very simple thing for such a big company.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, he was a fruitarian and he only ate grapes mainly, but he just ate fruit. And I think that was a cause of his cancer, partially.
Yeah.
And also probably mainly stress.
Yeah, exactly. Stress is the biggest killer.
It's your number one killer.
Stress causes all cancer.
And what is stress? It's all created in your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
So again,
have you heard of this new it's like eat anything. What do they call it?
eat anything.
Yeah, like I mean, it is just what most people do. So instead of being a vegetarian or a vegan,
Don't
select.
Don't say flexitarian.
That's it. That is the dumbest.
My housemate told
I
me.
want to go on record. That is the dumbest fucking thing.
You would have got that from my Facebook page.
No.
I posted it a while ago.
Yeah, you did, but no, I'd already heard it. I saw it on your Facebook, but I'd already heard about it. It is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like that is just eating food. I'm a flexitarian. Oh, so you eat meat? Yeah. And vegetables? Yeah.
I thought
And
about
rice?
it.
Yeah.
When I first heard
Gravy?
about it,
Yeah.
I thought about it and I was like,
It's fucking idiots.
what the fuck's going on? And I had
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
think
It's
about
just
it.
people need to put a fucking label on everything. Flexitarian.
And
fuck
that's,
off with your
that's
bad
what
stuff.
you just said is my conclusion. I was like, everyone feels so special that they need a label for everything.
Everyone's got to be
now.
so special these days.
You know?
So special. I'm a flexitarian.
Yeah, I've never heard that word till my housemate told me, and I really had to give it to him.
When I heard it first, I was like, I don't know what that means. I know what it sounds like, but it can't be that. What does that mean?
Very strange.
Yeah, and so I looked into it, and I was like, that's just a
It's
normal
a thing.
person.
It's a fucking thing.
No,
though.
it's not a thing.
No, but
it's a stupid
according to
fucking.
Google,
it's a stupid modern
according
term
to
for
Google,
something that already exists.
We got in the dictionary according to Google.
And
I was
like
like,
the modern.
"You fucking
What's it
kidding."
called? The modern dictionary. What's it called?
They call it urban dictionary.
Yeah,
or
urban
some
dictionary.
shit like that.
Flexitarian.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck off. That's
I
so
don't know.
stupid.
Yeah, they had me at fucking vegan, to be honest, because it's just
Vegan,
such
I
a
don't know.
hypocritical thing. Like,
Absolutely. it
even a
is.
fucking broccoli screams when you rip it out the ground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Not to mention the fact that, like, I mean, look, I don't.
We can't hear it. That's
Vegetarian, fine. Like, if you don't eat meat because you don't like meat, that's fine by me, no problem. But if you don't eat meat because you think that you're superior, go fuck yourself. Because like cows, chickens, pigs, sheep, none of them would. Pigs may be different, but cows, sheep, and chickens, they would not exist. They would have gone extinct if we didn't farm them because we use them for food, for all this sort of stuff. I think, Seth, was it yourself that I was chatting with this about the other day? Not on the podcast, we would. Yeah. And like I said, pass the dutchie from the left hand
Sorry,
side.
I was just passing it on to the camera.
Pass it on to production there, keep them blazed. I was saying to Seth, like, you know, if you think about it, all these farm animals, cows, sheep, etc., the only reason that they're everywhere and that they're in an abundance is because we farm them. So yeah, I know that there are cows in India that just get to walk around doing their own thing, and maybe they would still exist, but in the rest of the world, they wouldn't, and sheep certainly wouldn't. Sheep have got no natural way of defending themselves. They're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
They would have been wiped out by wolves and snakes and whatever, wild dogs and all sorts, or just getting stuck in the mud because they're fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And just they would have been wiped out.
Yeah.
So this is what I was saying to Seth. So okay, Mr. and Mrs. Vegan, is the idea there's your joint if you want it, bro.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Is the idea that that we don't is the idea that we that we everyone stops eating cow, sheep, etc., and okay, if that happens, then they're going to go extinct, because why would the farmers keep them alive if they can't be selling them or doing anything with them? We can't kill them to make use of the leather or anything like that, because then you're still killing them. And if you're going to kill them, then you may as well eat them, right? So, all right, so now that they've gone extinct, Okay, well, the next problem in this chain of unfortunate circumstances is how do I now feed my pet? Because pet food is the offcuts of those same animals that are not good enough for human consumption. And that could even be, like, say, on a cow, what would have been a really good piece of meat, but it happens to be bruised.
Yeah.
And once that meat's bruised, it's not going to be sold as human consumption food. There's actually nothing really wrong with it, but
Yeah.
bruised meat is just full of blood, so
Yeah.
it's now chopped up as part of dog food or cat food or whatever. So if now the animal, those cows and sheep and stuff, if they're not being consumed predominantly by us and the leftovers for dog food, where is the dog food now coming from? So now there's that problem. So dog food's going to become so expensive that we just can't afford to feed our dogs and cats and stuff, or then naturally they're also going to go extinct. So how is this beneficial to anyone or any animal for the vegans to just be on their fucking high horse about it? No one should eat meat and it's terrible and you're a monster and all that sort of stuff. It's like I just think there needs to be more ethical farming. There needs to be more control over that and no live export and stuff like that, and make sure that it is ethical killing and things like that. But to just, I just can't get my head around it. And have you eaten vegan food?
No.
It just tastes like sadness.
I mean, I'm a chef. I make my own. Like,
It's vegan food just tastes like
if
sadness.
I was gonna have vegan
it is
food,
worst food.
I'd make my own and it tastes alright. But it's because I've made it, and I would never eat the processed vegan food they come up with
It's
now.
yeah, exactly. That's it.
It's like
what they're eating is worse.
iodized coconut
Yeah,
oil and
yeah.
all sorts of goodies in there.
And that, like, oh, almond milk's so delicious. It's full of sugar, number one. And
80% water too, by the way.
yeah, and almond milk that doesn't have sugar in it tastes like dirty monkey ball. Speaking of India, you spent time in India.
Yeah.
Tell me, how long were you there?
6 months.
Half a year.
Yeah.
When was that?
You know, I keep saying like 6 years ago, but that was like 4
That was
or 5
you've been
years
saying
ago.
that for a
So
while.
probably like 10
10
years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, about 8 years ago, I'd say.
Yeah.
8 years ago.
And you would have 1,000,001 amazing stories from that.
I've got a few, yeah.
Yeah. Can you share?
So yeah, I'll give you the start of it, because the start was quite interesting for me. So basically, I got to New Delhi from Singapore airport. I got to New Delhi airport. It was nighttime,
Yeah.
and basically when I entered the airport, it was packed. It felt like there was 1 million people in the airport, and I looked around, scoped out the place, and I was the only white person from what I could see in a far distance. And I'm like, all right, what's going on here? Everyone just stared at me.
Yeah.
Everyone stopped what they were doing to stare at me. Children, old people, middle-aged wives, husbands, everybody just staring. And I was like, oh, what's going on? Like, no idea. I had such an ego back then that I thought, like, I felt like a celebrity.
Yeah.
So I was walking down this like aisle, a very wide aisle, and there
Yeah.
was Indians waiting for their families to arrive or whatever, and they were all just staring at me. Everywhere I looked, people were staring at me, and I felt from the ego celebrity to like intimidated pretty quick, and then angry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And then
Why angry?
angry.
What made
because-
you angry?
Angry because I didn't know how to deal with the emotions. I think I
Okay.
just didn't.
Like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That led.
And I didn't know how to deal with it because
Yeah.
it was a new feeling.
Yeah.
So it was a bit weird.
Yeah.
But then I got to the end, and a couple of old sort of Indian dudes came up, and one of them's grabbed my bag, and I've instantly like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? And he's like, no, sir, all good. And I was like, oh, maybe he's just going to like, that's what he does. He helps out. So he's grabbed my bag, and he's taken all my luggage, and I'm just like walking. I was like, went outside the sliding doors, went to the taxi, and he's directing the driver to open the boot really fast, like angrily kind of thing. And so I'm like observing this, just going, what the fuck is going on here? And I'm like, thanks, mate. It's really nice of you. And he's like money.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh,
no, I'm
fucking
not giving
here
you any
we
money.
go.
I didn't
Here
ask.
we go.
I didn't ask you for that.
Yeah.
And
Tough
he
shit.
said,
You accepted it.
No, money. You
Yeah.
give me money.
Yeah.
And he's doing the head shake.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, the fuck. So I
Yeah.
gave him like, I didn't even get to an exchange, so I gave him $20.
Yeah.
Little did I know, $20 in India could last you a week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he would have been
exactly,
psyched.
like for him, it would last him ages.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize. So he ripped me off, and I got in the taxi. The taxi driver's telling me, "Oh, you just got scammed, brother." And I was just like, "Motherfuckers!" And I'm telling him to take me to my hotel that I had booked. He took me there. Took me like so many different ways.
Yeah.
Telling me I got ripped off,
Yeah,
and he ripped
while
me
he's
off as
ripping
well.
you off,
So I
yeah.
got ripped off twice just to get to my hotel room.
Yeah.
Got in my hotel room. It was pretty nice actually. Like it was like a 3-bedroom house looking.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I paid. It was like $150 a night.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But in India, that must have been really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I got in. I was like, "This is sick." Put the air conditioner on. Went to open the curtains. It was nighttime, but there was so much shit happening outside. Like beep beep beep, like horns, fucking constantly, tuk-tuks. Shit was going on 24/7. It was like 11, 12 o'clock at night, maybe.
Yeah.
I open up the windows. There's fucking like prison bars.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fuck is this? This doesn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm looked down and there's like 3 or 4 kids in like a trailer with wheels on it. And they were selling Coca-Cola and lemonade bottles and stuff. I'm like, well, at least I know where to get a soft drink.
Yeah.
And then I left the curtains open. And then went to bed, woke up in the morning. And then witnessed fucking monkey fucking issues. So there's monkeys that apparently, my driver told me that there's monkeys in the morning, get on the tree, and they talk to these kids. Like, I don't know if it was a co-kids or another trailer with kids, but they teach the monkeys to steal
Yeah.
hotel rooms.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's why the bars
I've heard
are up.
about this. Yeah.
That's why the bars are up. And it just tripped, and I laughed at the driver. I'm like, no, they don't. He's like, oh, yes, very
Oh,
good.
very
They would
much
take
so.
your jewelry, your wallets. And that's when I was starting to realize that if I don't be careful, I'm just going to get scammed and lose everything.
Yeah. Even from monkeys.
Yeah. So the
I
next,
love monkeys. Fuck, I want a monkey.
so that happened. And then anyway, fast forward my next story. Got another airplane for 2.5 hours from Delhi to Manali, which is North India, far North India.
Like right up on Nepal.
Right at the top, yep.
Yeah.
So Manali borders China and Nepal. Mm-hmm. And where my hotel was, it was a nice hotel too. Every morning I could see the whole Himalayas
Sick.
and the snow-capped mountains.
Sick.
Like, nearly
Could you see Everest from there? Or not really?
No, just the Himalayas.
Yeah.
They were huge. Like
Yeah.
it was high elevation. Like
Yeah.
you struggled breathing.
Yeah.
Like if you were going for a walk, you'd struggle like breathing because we were such high altitude. I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was. It was like over 14,000 feet, I think.
Wow.
It was very high, and like
Wow.
just walking was like fucking like exhausting. It was really like you almost had to stop. But anyway, I went on search in Manali in the city when I got there, settled down the hotel. I went on a search to find some weed because I needed to find weed because I'm
Yeah.
like fucking India. Surely there's something. I went into the city and I seen this really old guy, and I was like, "You have weed?" Like doing the symbols. He's like, "Oh yes, yes." Follow me. So I followed this old guy. Turns out he sold me resin,
Like a hash?
like from a pipe.
Oh.
Like-
Like he just scraped out his pipe?
Yeah, he scraped out his pipe and sold me resin. Now, I found out later from my driver again that that's called temple incense. So what they do is the Hindus and the Sikhs and everyone, before they go to temple, they roll this stuff up
Yeah.
into a stick and they burn it in front of the temple's doors
Yeah.
to ward off negative energy.
Okay.
And so I'm smoking this in my hotel room,
Yeah.
thinking, oh yeah, sick, this is going to be like the best fucking Indian hash ever.
Yeah.
And I just got the biggest migraine.
Oh, wow.
Terrible migraine. And then a few days later, I got my driver, gave him like 400 Australian dollars,
Yeah.
and he came back with enough hash to last me the whole 6 months.
Wow.
And it was called Manali Cream, and it was tremendously strong.
Wow.
So, yeah, I got food poisoning about a week or two later.
Yeah.
Horrendous. Like, that lasted a month.
Oh.
3 weeks to a month.
and I couldn't. I was just ruined. I drank water, would throw up. Everything just. So all I could do was crawl to the balcony and smoke my hash, get back to bed, and watch tennis, like the French Open, but with Hindi fucking commentators. And so I just fucking flicking from that to a cricket channel with Hindi, and I'm like, oh man. So I got to learn a bit of Hindi because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some stories from India.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I've not been. Hey, I've done a lot of travel. I've been to like 17 or 18 countries, and I'm really grateful for that. But India isn't one that I've hit up yet. It's definitely on my list.
Look,
I definitely want to.
It's a beautiful country. It's
Yeah.
poverty.
Yeah.
There's poverty, but everyone's very
But I
happy.
like going to third world countries.
Everyone's happy and smiling.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful country. Like you can feel the spirit and you can feel good stuff from there, but it's very third world.
Oh, yeah, of
Like
course.
it's rough.
Yeah, of course.
You could die if you don't look after yourself. Like you need to check yourself because you know how you get laid back in our country, like when you cross the road and stuff. No, you can't be like that over there. You
Yeah,
can't
you've
just
gotta
cross the
be
road if
on
you're like,
ball.
if you
Yeah.
look both directions. Like, you know, it doesn't matter if there's traffic lights. It's different over there.
Yeah.
You've always got to be watching because there's millions of people.
Yeah.
Millions.
Yeah, well, literally over 1 billion people throughout the country. Yeah, it's crazy.
What countries have you been to?
Well, born in New Zealand, obviously, and so New Zealand. I every time I say this, I need to think about when I went to each one and then list them off in order of when I went there. So, New Zealand, Tahiti, USA, Mexico, England, Scotland, Germany, Austria.
You've been to England.
Touched my foot basically into Italy.
Just a little drip.
I just had a little, yeah. So, went snowboarding in the Austrian Alps, and like we took chairlift up to whatever point, and that part of the Alps, like that part was Italy, and this part was Austria. Yeah, so went just kind of like into Italy and then back out, but I don't count that one, right? So that's
That's cool.
because it like I mean you're not technically in Italy, but I don't count that as one of them. So England, Scotland, Austria, Italy, Brazil, Bali, Thailand. I think that's it.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah.
That's a shitload more than me, brother.
Yeah, but two that are massively on. Oh, there's several that are massively on my list.
What
but
was Austria like? I've heard that's a really nice place.
yeah, it was
there.
cool. It was like quite similar to Germany, into at least the part that I was in. So I was in Ischgl. Yeah, quite similar to Germany. I mean, they speak the same language. It's the same sort of food, all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
but it's similar to Germany, and if you're in like a quaint little German town.
Yeah.
The parts of Austria that I saw were just all kind of like quaint little Austrian towns.
Yep.
So I didn't go to like any of the big. I can't even think of the name of a big city in Austria, but obviously they have them.
No.
But I didn't go to that, so I don't know how different that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool, man.
but yeah, on definitely on my list is both India and Japan.
Yeah.
And Vietnam, I'd love to go to as well. But like I've been to Thailand and to Bali and stuff, so I've done bits of Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
But I've never done. You got Southeast Asia and then whatever like Korea, Japan, China, like that middle Asia
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah.
I've never done that, and Japan appeals to me the most out of those.
Yeah.
One day I'd love to do some of the stands, like Kazakhstan, Pakistan, and stuff like that, and Uzbekistan, and
Yeah.
do some of the stands. But maybe one day, I don't know. But India is massively on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to do Nepal and Tibet next.
yeah, right.
Yeah. And probably India again. Because
Yeah.
they're pretty, Nepal and India are reasonably close.
Yeah, of course.
But
And Tibet, that's still occupied by China, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Republic of China, I think. But yeah, it is definitely part of China.
There's
Yeah.
some crazy shit going over there in China.
Well,
And now they want to jump into Taiwan or jump back into Taiwan, take that back. That's going to happen soon.
Well,
That's gonna
basically,
happen soon.
a while ago, Tibet, I think, was its own country, and the Chinese, the Red Army came over and they killed a lot of monks,
Yeah,
like a lot of monks. And that's why I want to go over there.
yeah.
Yeah, they basically just...
Maybe when you do
Beaten them
decide
all
that
to
you're
death.
ready to become a monk, you could be like, well, I'm going to start with going there,
Yeah.
and immerse yourself in it,
Yeah, no.
rather than trying to do it here with the like the old habits and the influences and stuff like that
Yeah.
that you'd have here.
Yeah, I want to go there like in the next few months.
Oh, really? So
Yeah, like it may be early next year probably.
what are you going to cash out some crypto?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking let's go into that. Tell me, like,
Oh.
okay, so let me give a little bit of a rundown to our millions of viewers. So Steve, who I also call Crypto Steve or Bitcoin Steve, because he is the crypto master. You've got, or at least you had a little. To me, the master. You've got, or at least you had a YouTube channel where you were doing a bit of like trading, real time trading, but also helping explain what you're doing on the way. You helped explain the world of crypto to me, and I bought several different coins and things like that through your help and your guidance. Yeah,
Lost
like
money, didn't you?
yeah, I did lose some money, yeah, but that was my choice, you know. But but the thing, it was basically it was even money, like because I made some and lost some.
Yeah.
It was more or less even money.
Yeah.
But I've still got some. I've still got Ethereum.
At
And,
least you put your foot in it and had a little dabble.
yeah, I've still got most of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I'll stop speaking for you. I just wanted to give a little bit of a background for what that was worth.
Okay. Well, yeah. Obviously, I've liked crypto for many years now.
Yeah.
It's a little love of mine. I wouldn't say I'm an OG or anything, but I did discover Bitcoin when it was $100.
That's so crazy.
I didn't purchase it at that price, obviously. It was very difficult to obtain cryptocurrency back then. There was only certain places like Mt. Gox and a few places you could buy, and it was a very difficult process. But I did get in very early with Bitcoin, made a fair bit of money, took it out, and also lost a lot of money, made some stupid decisions.
I remember one time when you came and see me, and you'd gotten blazed and passed out and forgot to set a stop.
Fell asleep.
Yeah, and you fell asleep.
I remember that, yeah.
Like that was only the beginning of the year, or maybe it was last year, and
Yeah.
you lost thousands of dollars while you were asleep.
Yeah. Yep. And I lost 6,000 on Doge in half an hour.
Yeah.
Just
I
taking
always
that-
thought Doge was fucking dumb because it was just overhyped. It was overhyped. People were like, Doge to the moon, Doge
Yeah.
to the moon. And like Elon was hyping it up. And I mean, I respect Elon massively, but he's massively hyping it up. And, you know, it's like,
It was tricky.
it was tricky, but also I think that he was, you know, he didn't lose. He did not lose out of that.
No, he didn't.
Because as soon as he got every other motherfucker to buy Doge, and then all of a sudden, you know, he bought it at whatever, 1 cent or whatever. It got up to fucking 68 cents.
Yeah.
He sold out his $1 billion worth, and everyone else just went bushka,
Yeah.
you know?
But yeah, so it was a bit of a journey because I decided to take the road of technical analysis, which is basically understanding and analyzing charts and graphs.
Yeah.
You know, using oscillators and various indicators to gauge what the market is going to do,
Yeah.
or, you know, just forecasting a market by looking at markets, you know, graph structures and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I took the most difficult path that apparently over 90% of people will never succeed because I'm stubborn. So I had a difficult road learning, very, very long hours.
Yeah. Yeah, you put in a lot of
I
hours.
turned it into an addiction.
Yeah.
And just was sort of doing 18, 19 hours a day, not working, just focusing on this for years and really put in the hard yards
Yeah.
because I had the financial opportunity to do that. So I just basically worked a couple of days a week in a wedding venue doing
Yeah,
canapes.
that's right. Yeah.
And just focused really diligently on
Yeah.
just a lot of education, like self-taught,
Yeah.
and working out what's good on the internet, who's good on the internet, and who's
Yeah.
full of shit,
Yeah.
and who I need to trust and take under, treat them as a mentor. And it didn't really work out the way I thought. I just ended up, there was a couple of guys that I got a lot of information from, but I still ended up taking my own path because their path didn't quite work, because that was their brain. And technical analysis, you need to do it yourself. Like you need to figure out patience, fear, greed. You need to work on those emotions. If you have any of them, you'll never make money.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to master patience, master fear, and master like FOMO, they call it.
Yeah. Fear of
Like
missing
fear
out.
of missing out. Like,
And I think that a lot of people had that.
and it's so easy. It's so easy to have that because,
Absolutely.
If you think you're going to get rich quick, you're going to have FOMO.
Yeah.
If you don't think you're going to get rich quick and this is going to be your thing forever,
Yeah.
FOMO doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
What's the rush?
And I think that's where, like, I feel like I'm sort of okay with my crypto.
You are
because,
actually
like,
very good like that.
I've still got what I've got, and like, right now the whole market is down and stuff like that, and I've got no idea when it will be back up. You'd have much better understanding of that.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, I'm just going about doing my life. I've got my businesses. I've got the
That's right.
podcast. I've got my home life. I've got friend life. I've got all that sort of stuff. Music. Like, I've got more than enough going on. So basically, I'm just kind of like, well, eventually when it goes back up, then I'll just be like, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, like, I think, it also, if it's desperation, like if instead of paying your rent or your mortgage or whatever it is, if you buy an Ethereum coin instead, that has to go up for you. It has to. And it has to really soon. And that's a very dangerous position to put yourself in.
Yeah.
And so therefore you end up chasing losses. Whereas I was like, well, I'm going to chuck a bit in and I'm just going to see what happens.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wanted it to go up straight away. No one doesn't want that to happen. But it didn't really matter that it didn't. Do you know what I mean? And it didn't matter that it went down because I understood, like, well, I still own those coins.
Yeah.
Those coins are still mine. And unless they cease to exist, and I don't really have super, super high risk coins, so unless they cease to exist, then eventually they'll be worth more than what I bought them for. So sweet as.
That's right. Yeah.
I will buy that Tesla one day. One day. Actually, no, I want a fucking motorbike first.
Yeah.
Like a noisy
one.
Yeah, I want it to be obnoxious.
Yeah. Nice.
I want to start it up and my neighbours be like, that fucking whiskey cunt, fuck.
It's a good idea.
That's what I want.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Hey, do you mind if we have a break for a minute? I
Yeah.
want to go to the toilet and
I
get
need
a
a
drink.
piss.
Yeah. How are we doing?
What topic are we
Oh, well,
chatting about now, Mr. Whiskey?
I'm chefing, cooking.
Oh, he's trying to get some more food stuff, eh? Off you go then. Far away.
No, actually,
How do you
on the
make baked
topic.
beans?
No, I know what I want to talk. How do you burn fucking Weet-Bix?
How do you make a schnitzel?
No, you said far away, and then that straight away made me think of Chris Stapleton, one of our favourite musicians. Chris Stapleton, fucking amazing.
Young Matthew Whiskey got me onto him on a random day, random Monday or Tuesday it would have been, approximate, but
Yeah,
it was
I did.
absolute lovely. Probably about 17 beers in when I first heard Chris, and what a wonderful guy.
Never look back. His story's incredible too. That he was a writer, like a songwriter for writing for other people.
Yeah, I remember
Writing
you
for some
saying
big
that.
names.
It's interesting, eh? I mean, it makes sense. He's such a good lyricist. He's a writer. He's
Amazing
He's everything. Like, and he's very sort of humble about it too.
Yeah,
I think there is a bit of ego there, but he's quite humble. You know, like
yeah.
he knows.
I feel like there'd have to be some ego.
I think it helps drive you in
Yeah.
this. You know.
And the business that is show. I think there has to be. There has to be some ego because otherwise you're just going to get fucking pushed aside. You've got to be able to at least stand there and be like, "Fuck you, this is my shit."
He comes across as a guy that
But I think he seems like a nice guy.
tries to be very humble, but the media
Yeah.
and the success, like all the attention,
Yeah.
is what pisses him off.
Yeah.
He looks like that kind of guy, like he loves, what he does,
Yeah.
but he doesn't want the success with it, which makes him more special in my eyes,
You don't think he wants the success?
I don't think he does, because I watched a couple of he's got a couple of 60-minute interviews on
Yeah.
YouTube. You've
Yeah.
probably watched.
I watched a couple.
And one of them, it shows all his guitars and everything, but just the way he talks seems very humble.
Yeah.
But he also seems like he could possibly be quite difficult to get along with as the other partner as well.
Well, his wife, Morgan, she's the singer.
They seem lovely and very happy in most videos.
and they've got kids together now and all that sort
But
of
I
stuff.
have watched a couple of the videos.
If any of you listening, listening, or whatever, haven't checked out Chris Stapleton, or if perhaps all you know are songs like "Cold" and Tennessee Whiskey, he's got some amazing songs. What would be your favorite? Do you think? Do you have a favorite or a favorite couple? Or
I've
whatever?
got two favorites.
Yeah. Okay.
But I must admit, I played them too much because I have a tendency to over.
yeah,
thrash
I do
things.
that too.
But
When
I'd
the new Tool album came out, I
I'd
thrashed
say
it.
for a happy vibe, I'd say Starting Over.
Great
And
song.
I'd say for more of a thinking song.
Let me get. Can I
Whiskey
guess?
and You.
Ah, shit! I was about to say it. If
And
I
I
swear
dare
to
say
God,
they're
if you'd
probably the
if
same
you'd
as
let
you.
me guess, I was gonna say Whiskey and You.
There you go.
Starting Over, I don't know, but I was gonna guess Whiskey and You.
Yeah.
But yeah, Starting Over is a wonderful song.
And Tennessee Whiskey is probably the least one I listen to. I love it though.
Yeah, it's a great
It was
song.
the one that got me into him.
Yeah, exactly. It's a
So-
great song. But yeah, Whiskey and You is awesome. But also, it's called Either Way or Anyway. Either Way.
Fire Away.
No. Either Way.
He's got so many.
Fire
good
Away's all right. Yeah, I don't mind Fire
He's
Away.
got
But
really good ones.
Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure it's called Either Way. It's something like that. But that's a good song. He's got heaps. And you and I listen to a lot of music together. Heaps. Music
Oh, absolutely.
Together.
Heaps.
What are you listening to at the moment?
To be honest, music hasn't been something I really had the time to listen to. But
Yeah.
whenever I listen to music lately, it's the same two things, because I listen to music when I do my yoga, which is, it's called Hatha yoga music, and I do vinyasa yoga, so it doesn't make any relevance whatsoever, but I just listen to it because it's nice, peaceful,
Yeah.
Indian vibe, like Indian flute,
Yeah.
all that jazz. And I also listen to an African thing I found on YouTube that goes for about an hour and 20 minutes. And it's like African, I think it's Zulu or something, but it's just really good, like bongos. And it's got a very good meditation, makes me happy. So I listen to that.
Yeah.
Like when I'm setting up at work in the morning or something,
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually just listen to meditation music most of the time. But when I come here, I obviously listen to what you're listening to, which is what I've listened to my whole life.
Yeah. And it varies for me in terms of what mood I'm in, what I feel like.
Yeah.
Like in the break before when we're having a bite to eat and stuff, I cranked on some. What did I have on? Some Tupac. Something,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah. The diversity between
Yeah,
you and I in music's just retarded. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people wouldn't really understand, but we listen to so much music. Like,
Yeah.
I listen to country music now. I
Yeah.
wouldn't if you didn't get me onto it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have any fucking
I never would
inclination
have. I
to it.
never would have thought that I would like country, but I don't mind it at all.
You
In
know?
fact, sometimes that is exactly what I feel like listening to, but also sometimes I just feel like listening to rap, or I feel like listening to metal, or I feel like pretty much for me it's only I never feel like listening to pop.
Yeah. I just feel music, it does a couple of things. Like, it can set your mood, for one. And for two, it can also, set... how can I explain it? So it sets your mood, but it also can attribute to, other things in life to help you as well.
Yeah.
Depending on what you want, you want your day to be like or whatever.
Yeah.
You can set the music tone for your day.
Yeah,
On
definitely.
choosing what music,
Definitely.
not necessarily what you want to listen to, but what's going to put you in a mood.
Well, even the
Or a
first
situation.
the first song that you choose to listen to each morning, you know, like, and I used to in years gone by, I was always just radio, but the reason I prefer now, I never listen to the radio anymore, or very rarely, because I prefer to choose the music that I listen to because it can help set me up. If I wake up and I've had a shit sleep or whatever, I want to listen to something that's upbeat but not aggressive, and just to help get me in the mood. Or perhaps I'm in more of a sort of playful, fun sort of mood, so I want to listen to something that taps into that.
Yeah.
But what I never want to listen to first up is a sad song or something that's going to make you think like, oh fuck me, my fucking dog died and my neighbor is a cunt. And,
It's also,
you know what I mean?
music's also, like, there's another study as well by a guy, I'm not sure, but he studied frequency and vibration in sound.
Yeah.
And he noticed when he put sound over water, it would change the molecular structure of the water in such a way that they'd be geometric shapes.
Yeah.
And if you played it death metal, it looked ugly.
Yeah.
But if you played it classical or jazz, it would look fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
But
a
done it was
like a water symbol, like a
yeah.
water element table, like symbol, or like it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
So they actually worked out, which, again, some religions know this from like
Yeah.
singing bowls and certain
Yeah.
frequencies in sound actually affect the vibration in your body.
Yeah.
It sounds hippie, but it just does.
No,
like
well, maybe it sounds hippie to other people. It certainly doesn't to me,
Yeah,
because
good.
I'm well aware of how incredibly impactful music is. That's why I don't understand people like, no, I don't really like music.
And-
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? How is that a thing? What do you mean you don't like music?
Yeah.
I think that just means that you've never experienced music properly. Because if you experience music, I don't care what genre it is. You could be into classical, you could be into gangster rap, you could be into death metal. If it speaks to you and you experience it,
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't like it? That just doesn't. That's like going, I'm not a big fan of Oxygen.
Yeah. But there's like an actual law in vibration. Like there's a law behind vibration.
We having some more?
Yeah. But basically,
Seth,
like,
do you want a drink, brother?
I'm okay, mate.
yeah, the law of vibration is amazing. Like you can emanate so many things, and there's a lot of things, elements in this life that hold the vibration, like crystals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you say, oh, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, the chicks are just into crystals. I've got shit tons of crystals. Like I've got like a crystal grid going on in my bedroom and stuff,
Yeah.
because they actually hold in sunlight, they hold in energy, vibration.
Okay.
Like, and if you, like, people argue it, you just go, well, have you ever heard of a quartz watch? What's quartz? What does quartz do? Like, these are important things.
Yeah.
Like, they make watches work. They
Yeah.
keep watches running.
Yeah.
Like, they hold energy and vibration.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
And all crystals, like majority of crystals, some of them don't affect well with sun. A lot of them you need to charge them under a full moon.
Yeah.
Like, so you put them out at night time under a full moon.
Is that right?
Or a new moon, and that
So it's-
recharges.
So it's not that they're not solar. They're the opposite.
It's weird.
Like
It's weird.
Hold
I don't know enough, but I mean, I've read a couple of books on crystals to understand them enough and go, well, they're part of my life now as well.
yeah, right.
You know, because you've got dodgy ones, you've got good ones. Like they all mean certain things, and they affect your life and emotions, and you know, it goes into astrology and all sorts of stuff,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like your star sign, you have rocks that are your star rocks.
Yeah.
Like, and the majority of them are crystals. So all this stuff is entwined together, but it's
Crystals or gems?
both.
Okay.
But they're all entwined together in astrology and our life in this world, and it's just trying to figure it out, trying to work out what the fuck, like all these pieces of information, and we're just like almost like monkeys. We're just like putting pieces together on a puzzle,
Yeah.
or like a jigsaw.
Yeah.
So that's what I try and achieve in life, is just all this random information. I just try and gather it, but the information I try and retain is just stuff I want to know.
yeah.
Like, it's almost selfish, but I want to limit other bits of it. Like, If you want me to fix a car, forget it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of shit I just don't know.
Well,
And
of
I
course,
just
no one
choose-
can know everything.
I choose not to learn it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to fill my information, like my brain with that information.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I try and do. But the world's fucking complex.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
very complex.
It is indeed.
And we just don't really, we don't know. Like, the most fundamental questions in life is just never asked, never questioned. And we just live our lives. It's a strange life, isn't it? You know? So I just like to question shit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do, though.
Yeah, I think the majority of
Thanks, brother. Cheers.
You're right. Cheers, man. I think the majority of thinkers do. The majority of thinkers question things, and this is because they're thinking, because they want answers, and perhaps are not satisfied with just because.
Correct.
You know, I'm certainly not happy with just because. There's a lot of laws that I ignore that I think are just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And it confuses me and almost bothers me when people uphold them purely because I'm like, stop upholding that law just because it's a law.
Yeah.
Ask, why is that a law?
Question things.
Question it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't make sense, and I'm not talking about radical, crazy stuff. I'm talking about basic things where it's like, why would that be a law? That's dumb.
It's
Why would that be a law? That's
It's-
fucking dumb. Like, you enjoying your joint here, like that would have broken several laws. Not just because it's weed, but because we're inside, because of passive smoke, because of whatever. It's like, stop fucking meddling in my business, Mr. and Mrs. Government.
yeah.
This is my space, my podcast, and I don't care if that's what my guest wants to do. That's a law that should just be ignored. Just fucking ignore it and carry on,
Yeah.
because it's the only way that those sort of stupid laws get changed.
There's a quote from the famous Steve Jobs, and one of his quotes was, "We get brought up into a world and society where we're like inside of a square box,
Yeah.
and you don't want to poke the boxes. You just want to stay inside the box and be safe.
Yeah.
And there's another side to it once you work out, like, what happens when you push it and poke and see what's on the other side? But nobody does. So his like riddle or little quote that he's basically saying is like, there's no point following the same path like a herd of sheep. You're just all on the same path.
Yeah.
Try other things. Do
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Take chances. You know, this is what life is about. Like, take risks. If they don't work out and you fail, so be it.
Yeah.
What do you get out of it?
Yeah.
A fucking beautiful life lesson that you won't make again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's key to life. You know, it really is key to life. It's good to fail. It's good to suffer. Mm-hmm. It's all these things are good.
Well, it's important. It's important. It's part of learning. It's part of learning.
It sucks.
You can't.
to
But
deal
it
with
sucks.
but-
It sucks, but it's important. But yeah, you can't learn and grow without it. This is why I think it's important for, as horrible as it is, it's important for young people to go through loss, to go whether that I don't necessarily mean death, but
Yeah.
like love lost. You know, you got to have your heart broken a few times. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, because you have to know that you'll survive.
It's probably one
You
of
have-
the strongest senses too.
Yeah,
Sorry
you
to
you have to know that you'll survive. You have to know that that you're not invisible, and you have to know that love means something. That's why it hurts so much.
Yeah.
Because then hopefully it will also teach you to not do it to other people if you're not a psychopath and you've got empathy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But you know, and you have to fail shit. You have to fail shit. You have to fail your driver's lesson or your maths class or your exam or you know whatever. You have to fail things to learn that life actually carries on and that you can do it again, or you can give up if you want to, or you can change direction or whatever. Like you have to learn all those things. You have to be broke. You have to have money. You have to spend money that you shouldn't have. You just have to have all these things, and I feel sorry for people that are so sheltered that you know, their parents or their community think that they're probably helping them. Like, oh no, we don't want Tommy to have that. It's like, that's cruel, because one day he's going to be in the real world.
Sorry,
And-
you always use Tommy as an example. I love.
Fuck Tommy.
They're great names.
Fuck Tommy.
Or Timmy or
Timmy, yeah, I can't remember what I named the AI the other day when we were talking about Tim. I think it was
Oh,
Tim.
that was just for today.
Yeah.
So Matt said something the other day. Sorry to off topic, but real quick, he
That's
said
all right, I'm
something about
rambling.
artificial intelligence, and the name of his robot was just a very, very like Damo or something. Like
Tim,
it was
Tim.
It was Tim.
Yeah.
And it was like very just fluent in conversation. He's like, and what if AI Tim? It was just the way he said it was just very funny. But anyway, continue
I'm
on.
pleased that you enjoyed that. No, I was just rambling, bro. I was just rambling.
Back to Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy, fucking little fucking pussy Tommy hasn't even hurt his foot, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I'd like to be on a fucking podcast. You reckon I can come on your show there, Whiskey? Yeah, go on, have a seat, mate." So what have you been doing? Well, I've never been told no. Oh, fucking, that was a fun chat, Tommy. Out you go.
Off you go, Tom.
See you later, mate. Send in Tim the AI. He's more interesting than you.
Oh dear.
Yeah. No, I just think that people need to be hurt.
Absolutely.
But they also need love. They also need wins. They also need success. They also need all that sort of stuff. But if you only have that, then, well, one, that's just not real. That's not realistic.
I mean-
but two, also, it's like, well, where's the balance now?
See, this is where another form of it's not really Buddhism, but it's very close. It's called Taoism.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't
Taoism-
know anything, but I've heard the name.
Taoism is from like I'm pretty sure the Yin dynasty in China. It's very, very old.
Right.
And Taoism, I've got a book at home I've read 4 or 5 times. It's pretty cool. Like their astrology, they relate humans to animal signs.
Yeah.
So like you could be a dog, a rat, a snake, a goat, shit like that.
Yeah.
And they basically believe in yin and yang.
Yeah.
So they're the yin yang.
Yeah,
They're
yeah. Is that
basically
where that comes from?
That's where that comes from. So, what that means
all
is
those people out there with their yin and yang tattoo that are like, fucking hang loose.
just what this means is 50% of your life has to be good and 50% of your life has to be bad. And
Yeah.
this is the way it is. Through
Exactly.
if you're Elon Musk,
Balance.
if you're Elon Musk and you have all the money in the world, he's getting suffering in other departments.
Of course he is.
To balance it out.
Yeah.
I guarantee this. And this is with every human being, and that's how Taoism works.
Yeah.
Now, if you think about it in depth, and like the stuff I read from that book, it's pretty understandable.
Yeah.
Like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like how it's fundamentally structured, who the fuck knows? But
Yeah.
it theoretically sounds pretty like a good observation. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think Taoism and the Buddhism and all this stuff is like good for like a general understanding of suffering, desire, and ego, and all these emotions that we have.
Yeah.
And just observing them. Don't react on them because you'll die quick, you'll suffer quick, and you'll keep coming back and
Yeah.
relearning until you get it. And that's how I sum up what I learn with Buddhism and reading books and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the Dhammapada I've read hundreds of times.
Dhammapada.
Which is scriptures from very
Oh, that's
old
what you were talking about earlier.
Sanskrit texts.
Yeah, right.
Which
Oh,
is
right.
very, very old Indian like texts. And they've been translated to Western. So that's why I've read it so much. Because
Yeah.
you have to
Because you
try
don't
and
have to read Sanskrit because it's been translated.
no, but you have to. the way they translate it might not be correct, so you have to keep reading it over and over to try and work out different variable options
Okay.
to make sure that you're on the right path.
Okay.
Because the Western guy that translated it
Yeah.
could have fucked it up.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's not
It's only gonna
it's
be
not
fucked
the
up,
original.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Of course.
I have to be like, so I keep reading and going, well, could it mean this? Could it mean
Yeah,
this?
yeah, yeah. So is it's sort of got some metaphors or potentially got some metaphors.
Well, some gurus I watch, they're very diverse.
Yeah.
One guy's super like angry and scary, intimidating. He'll fucking stare you in the eye. He doesn't even blink. He's like enlightened. I know he is. He's called Oso, which is Bhagwan Shri Ranjish. His name is.
You're just making shit up now.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm kidding.
Your followers
I'm
can
kidding. It
YouTube
just-
everything I say. But
Seth
Bhagwan,
can always check things.
Bhagwan
No, I'm just
Shri-
saying because of how it sounded.
Bhagwan Shri Ranjish is, I think he's still alive. I'm pretty sure he is. But he's one of my gurus.
Yeah.
He's called Oso.
Yeah.
He's like one of my gurus that I look at as a disciplinary, like, guru. Like, he kind of scares me a little bit, but he doesn't. But he's very peaceful and warmth, but I look up to him a lot because I feel intimidated by him.
Okay.
And then I have another one that's very happy and loving and speaks so calm and peaceful. And he teaches me lots of meditation techniques, you know. And then I have another one, which I listen to a little bit, which is Sadhguru. But I think he has a bit of a profitable thing with his Isha Foundation and stuff. But he is also a little bit enlightened, but I feel like he's stolen from other gurus in the past to make himself profit off of it.
Yeah, sure.
But there's lots of them that I follow. But yeah, they're very wise people if you listen to them. And they're very slowly spoken,
Yeah.
very old and very wise. And if you take the time and just have a listen to one of them, you'll be like, well, that's different. Because they don't talk with like the way we talk. They don't have the emotions. They don't have things that we have going on.
Right.
So it's like you're talking to, like you look at them and think they're fucked in the head initially, but then when you look at them and observe them and actually research Buddhism, you're like, oh shit, they actually like know how to do that stuff because they're just so, the energy's just like,
Well, it's all they do.
they're
as
not
well.
lazy. They're very disciplined. Like it's the opposite of lazy.
Yeah.
But to us, if you're not working a full-time job, you're lazy.
Yeah.
But these people, they will build house after house after house, brick by brick.
Yeah.
This is not, you know, it's just they're differently. They're not plugged into making money.
Yeah.
They're not plugged into loving people,
Well, it's interesting that
having sex.
you mentioned the idea of lazy, like personally, and this is going to get a lot of hate, but
Get in
I
there,
don't-
sunshine.
Yeah, I don't really
Mate,
care.
this
to
is
be
our
honest.
podcast here
Exactly.
tonight, mate.
Exactly.
Long
But
form.
I think that the laziest people I've ever met are here in Australia.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And if you spoke to my mother and father, which we're all British, they would be buying you a drink right now, going, "How fucking lazy are Australia?"
Yeah, and obviously that's a generalisation. Obviously, it is not every Australian, but by and large, for in my experience, there is no shortage of lazy Australians.
Do you mean work ethic wise,
But work ethic or lack
or
of,
just as in energy,
lack of,
like just as in motivation to do stuff?
yeah, motivation to do stuff. But
of
again,
both.
this is a massive generalisation because there are many who fucking haul ass and kick ass, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that there are a lot that don't, that are just quite happy to sit around, do nothing. They don't self-motivate. They don't push themselves. They don't try new things. And I don't know if it's because they're afraid to fail. I don't know. Maybe it is.
I think it's a mixture of a lot of.
But I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. I think that it's part of it stems from going back quite a while. Australia's always had the "she'll be right" attitude.
Yeah.
She'll be right.
right.
It's a bullshit attitude to have. I'm
won't be
sorry.
fucking right.
She won't be right.
that attitude up.
Exactly. She'll be right is a fucking lazy bullshit attitude to have. Like,
What I've noticed since COVID happened is giving people that opportunity to claim that $750,
Yeah.
or to claim whatever
Yeah.
benefit because of
every
COVID.
week. Every week. So
is-
some of them were suddenly getting paid more.
I mean,
Because of COVID.
if you think about it and just look back now to the day we're at and the minute we're at right now and go, okay, so how did that all work out? Did that really benefit anybody apart from the government?
Yeah.
Of course it didn't. But did it seem like it benefited the people? Of course it did.
Yeah.
The government aren't silly people. So what they've done is created, guys, if you've got a cough, that's it. You can just have the time off. We'll give you money.
It shitted me.
But what
Shitted
happened
me.
was all that money, before this even occurred, I'm like, we're paying this back. I
Yeah.
guarantee you.
Well, and we are currently.
We're-
Look at how expensive everything is.
People are going, are we going to get a recession? Are we going to...
Yeah.
Dude, we're already in one.
Well,
Go buy a fucking...
Did you-
Go buy a fucking thing of lettuce.
recession isn't even as bad as what people make it out.
It's not that bad.
The people that freak out about recession are the people that don't understand what it really is.
People with a lot of money suffer, though. Which is good.
Yeah.
I like that.
But I mean, it's all it is 2 months of a lower or a non-growth in GDP.
It just slows the process.
It's just not 2 months, sorry, 2 quarters.
Yeah.
But did you know that in the US, like really recently, like a week ago or something, 2 weeks ago, like fucking brand new recently, they rejigged what a recession is.
Of course they did.
Literally, they just rewrote what it means. So right now, the US isn't in a recession because they've changed what the requirements are to be in a recession.
We're not quite there yet.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
hold this off.
But yet, literally 2 weeks ago, where they are now, they would have been in a recession. But they're like, well, that's not good because that makes everyone panic. So let's just change what it is.
We don't need panic right now.
Therefore, it doesn't actually matter what you call it. Calling it something doesn't
Just
change.
the word.
It doesn't change the what is actually happening. Like, yes, there is a big downturn in people spending. That is what leads to recession. But recession doesn't necessarily lead to depression, right?
Yeah.
We go through recessions all the time. It's just that I think that at the moment, a lot of people still think of recession and then they think GFC. They think of the 2007, 2008 GFC, and they freak out. And that's understandable because GFC is not a good thing. But that's a global financial crisis. That's very different from just a recession. You can an economy can come out of a recession quicker than it goes into it. People just got to spend. Stop giving your money to the bank and leaving it in the bank. Spend it. Just keep spending, and we won't have a recession. It's fucking as simple as that.
Put it in crypto.
Well, that's not really spending either. That's just putting it in another form of bank.
Well, the taxpayer likes to think they want to fucking take 48% in Australia.
Yeah, but isn't there word around that changing, or there are?
I've got my own tax account for that now.
Yeah, you do too. Yeah.
But other people, they're suffering massive. Like, if you make $100,000, they want $48,000 of that.
Yeah, it's rough.
That's very rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they don't know how to regulate it. They're still trying to learn
But this,
what's going on, because the whole world's still trying to develop and learn what is going on. Like, what the fuck? Because it's moving very quick, because technology is so fast developing.
Yeah.
So cryptocurrency. Oh, now we have margin trading. We have index trading. We have futures trading.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, NFTs. Now we've got this. It just doesn't stop. Like, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to keep up.
Yeah.
But there's people that have been studying it for years, and they're just going, what the fuck? You cheeky fuck. Because they're stealing our money at the moment.
Yeah.
They're stealing from us
Yeah.
blatantly.
Yeah, of course.
It's pure stealing.
Yeah.
Like, he's making good money. We need to tax him. That's just...
At the highest rate
can't
possible.
make it like that. No,
Yeah.
it's just wrong.
And it's at the highest rate possible.
Yeah.
Basically 50%, 48%. It's fucking absurd.
What's their reasoning? What, crypto runs 24/7? That stock exchange runs 5 days a week? Is that your reasoning?
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
Well, that's their excuse. But
It kind of makes sense why that would be the reasoning, but still, that's fucked.
well, it doesn't. I don't think it makes sense as to why they should then be able to tax at an exorbitant rate. Like, if that is your only income, let's say that you earn 50 grand, right? You only earn 50 grand throughout the year with whatever your crypto was, but that was your only income. You shouldn't be paying 48%, 50% tax on that. You should be paying the same as what you'd get if you worked at McDonald's earning 50 grand a year.
Your only income, no way.
Exactly.
You'd be fucked.
You'd be fucked because now all of a sudden you've actually only earned 25 or 26,000.
You'd be proper fucked,
Yeah.
you know? But that's why I work 2 days a week, just to pay rent and bills.
Is that only 2? No, you're doing
2 to 3.
Oh, I thought
Like, for the last 2-3 years I was.
I thought you were doing
was
more
doing
than that.
fuck
now.
all.
But now you're doing more.
Oh, I'm doing like 60
Yeah, exactly.
a week.
Yeah.
60 a week. And it's an hour and a half there, hour and a half back.
Yeah.
But I don't mind. I read, like I said, I read books.
Yeah.
I use the opportunities that most people would suffer and go, fuck this. I can't do this much longer. And I just go, well, I've got all this time. I'm sitting on a bus. What can I do?
Yeah.
Meditate, read a book,
Yeah.
use my phone. No, that's not an option.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch that.
Yeah.
Like, unless you message me or the venue manager at work, I'm not replying.
Yeah.
So it's focusing just, I'm just trying to utilize my time.
I've also tried to not use my phone anywhere near as much.
I hate it.
I fucking hate it.
Mine's on airplane
My,
mode.
my phone is so beaten up. Like, look how cracked all that shit is.
They're
and
good.
It's the same on the front. It's fun. But it's because I just, honestly, I'd throw it away if I could. But yeah, I say all of this, and yet, what are we on right now?
Do you know what the
YouTube,
best-
Spotify, Apple
I worked out
Podcasts.
the best phone. You know what the best phone is in the world?
I know what you're gonna say. I
What?
know you're gonna say that Highway or whatever it is.
No, you're wrong. No, I'm not.
Well,
talking
last time
about
we
brands.
spoke about phones,
I'm not talking about brands.
Oh.
The best phone in the world would be a phone that you can just call and message. You can't have any apps.
Well, yeah, that was just everything pre-smartphone.
No apps.
Yeah, that's everything pre-smartphone.
That's what I'm saying.
Like the old Nokia 3310.
That's what we need to
Fuck
stick
that
with.
badass, that brick motherfucker.
Stick with that, because otherwise
agree.
our minds would be whole different
I agree.
process.
I agree.
Probably a little less intelligent, but probably a lot smarter in some other ways too.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Would we
Because
be listened to?
these social media apps are what fucks everyone.
Oh, hey man, we touched really briefly, like not
touch
even
you.
we didn't. It wasn't even touch. It was a tickle. It was a tickle. It was a.
Getting very romantic.
I don't even
and
think it would be.
sexual here.
It wasn't. We didn't even get to first base with the topic of aliens,
Well,
and that's one of my
I love
favorite.
a bit of baseball.
That's one of my favorite topics. I love.
No.
I love aliens. I love the idea of it. I love everything about it. I'm definitely a believer completely in aliens. I think I said that before, and I believe that you are as well. But have you ever had an experience?
I'm going to be honest with you straight up and say not in one iota in this life have I experienced any alien form whatsoever. However, I
You did say in this life.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to sound like eccentric, fucking amazing kind of person. I don't remember the other ones. I do remember being born in this life. That's another probably podcast.
You remember the birth?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You're right. That is another podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole another one.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But we're having
regarding aliens,
having
I
it.
do believe in them.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure because visually I haven't seen them. But the rest of it is
Yeah.
100% whatever we can get to the most maximum thought of an alien is yes, I do believe in them.
Yeah.
I have not, I know you have, you've spoken to me before about it.
Yeah.
I haven't, but what I do know is learning and trying to obtain knowledge
Yeah.
is something that I am really good at.
Sure.
So I'm pretty good at sifting through bullshit on YouTube.
Yeah.
And almost over 90% of it is bullshit. Mm-hmm. But there is some little snippets of stuff that keep coming up
Yeah.
in different topics that make me go, well, they're two unrelated topics, but they're referring to the same incidents that occurred. Like, for example, UFOs going deep underwater into the ocean.
Bro, but
and
this-
then flying back out of the ocean.
But
And
this-
it's like, well,
This
okay,
is almost proven.
what's the world created of? 90% of what we live in
Yeah.
is water and the ocean.
Yeah.
So
But this is almost not almost.
It is.
It is proven.
It is proven
that there is because there's enough evidence, right? There's enough video. I got to move this right up in my business. There's enough evidence. There's video evidence. There's incredible eyewitness testimony from legit serious full on fighter pilots through to
yeah.
top people that there's no reason to think that they're talking
But
shit.
let's be real human. Sorry to interrupt, but let's be real. I like to break it down very biasedly, because I like to really, almost put a character towards what we're having an opinion on. So
Yeah.
when it comes to things it is real.
Yeah.
No, it's not yet. For you, maybe, Matt, because you have mentioned to me that you have experienced
I have.
like sightings. So
Yeah, sighting.
you are above me because I haven't, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
But for me, as someone that has never seen an alien,
Well, I don't know, but I haven't seen an alien.
But-
I've seen craft that I can't fucking explain.
But from my opinion, from not seeing anything, but having the government go, yeah, they're real now, I'm still skeptical because I don't want to fall in the dogma of being the everybody that just follows.
Yeah.
Like sheep. I like to judge and question as many things as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
If there's something that can form a question, I will create it.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. What are you skeptical about the idea that they've been here or the idea that they exist?
Neither. I think that they're here and they exist. I think they're walking
So
among us.
so then what is it that you're skeptical about?
None. No. What I'm saying about the skepticism is I like to really look into it because I haven't visually seen one. So
Yeah.
now I am the person that will say, I can't give you 100% answer.
But I also
I'm
can't.
95, 99%.
Yeah.
Yes. My verbal and theoretical opinion is yes, I believe in them.
Yeah.
And I know that they exist. But
Sure.
I can't say it 100% because I haven't like witnessed an actual physical
Yeah.
thing.
On that note, I am starting to get I'm fading a little bit. It's been a long day.
The cannabis has got to young Mr. Whiskey. That's unfortunately my fault, but let's drink that little
yeah.
edge you've got there.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend. I love you. I appreciate you. And we will chat very, very soon.
Been good, guys, and follow this channel. Watch this space, motherfuckers.
Thank
Let's
you.
get into it.
Cheers, man.